This page is the front cover of a magazine focused on Nintendo 64. The cover prominently features a character from Ogre Battle 64, highlighting its upcoming release on the N64. The magazine includes a large special feature on E3 Atlanta '98, covering the latest N64 news and happenings seen in America, and even mentions E3 souvenir gifts. Inside, there's a 20-page strategy guide for FZEROX, and it also comes with special FZEROX stickers as a bonus. Other games mentioned as being covered in this issue are The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Pokemon Stadium, Chocobo 64, which may be referring to Chocobo Racing, Master Angler 64, and Castlevania 64. The top banner also mentions that the N64 price has been dropped for the second time and will be 14,000 yen from July 1st. The magazine is priced at 490 yen and is stated to be packed with the latest information. The next page is an advertisement for the Nintendo 64 game Trump Collection, Alice's Waku Waku Trump World. This game, from bottom up, is set to be released in July 1998 and is priced at 6,980 yen. It appears to be a card battle game featuring characters inspired by Alice in Wonderland. The advert highlights strategic gameplay and a story mode where you must use your trump card skills to help Alice in a trump battle. This page is an advertisement for the Nintendo 64 game Alice No Paint Adventure, although it is referred to with the tagline Dream Trump. It highlights the game's story mode, which features 7 stages and 7 battles set in a whimsical Alice in Wonderland-style world. The advert also mentions 15 different types of trump card games available in the title and showcases screenshots of the gameplay and quirky playing card character designs. This page is an advertisement section titled Wonderland in Your Pocket, showcasing a range of Game Boy games. Featured are 6 titles. First, there's Django L and Animal Blue 2, both creature-raising games where you collect and breed monsters, with Animal Blue 2 allowing you to create new species and aiming for the top dinosaur in the universe. Then, there's Go! Go! Beach Volleyball, a beach volleyball game set in the Mediterranean, where you choose a partner and aim for Rome. Insect Doctor is an insect collecting game, where you gather rare bugs worldwide to become the ultimate collector. League Supporter Soccer lets you select Japanese national teams from the J-League and compete against 32 world teams for the top spot. Finally, Fishing Teacher is a fishing game where you journey to catch phantom fish, enjoying fishing, a picture book feature, and communication battle modes. Most games are priced at 4,800 yen, with League Supporter Soccer slightly higher at 5,500 yen. Release dates are listed for each game in June and July. All games are compatible with both Game Boy and Super Game Boy systems. This page is the contents page for Volume 23 of the 64Dream magazine. It highlights the E398 show as a special feature. The game section features new software information including Banjo-Kazooie, Rakuga Kids, Castlevania 64, Hybrid Heaven, Star Soldier, Vanishing Atreus, Mario Super Sluggers, Battle Phoenix, Winback, Covert Operations, Super Speed Racing 64, 64 Trump Collection, Alice's Waku Waku Trump World, Penny Racers, Simcopter 64, Dezamoron 3D, Narrated Suriko 64, Chameleon Twist 2, Olympic Hockey Nagano 98, and One Guy Monster. The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and F-Zero X are listed under strategy information, alongside Extreme G and Super Robot Spirits. There's also a news page with a Q&A and press conference details, plus manga series, and a present page. This article previews upcoming N64 games 2 years after the console's launch. Anticipating exciting releases after E3, Nintendo aims to satisfy fan expectations with diverse software, including third-party titles, leading up to the holiday season. A software calendar explains release statuses. Games launching between June and July include Dezamoron 3D, Star Soldier, Vanishing Earth, F-Zero X, and Olympic Hockey Nagano 98, among others. Subsequent lists categorize games by release month, including Banjo-Kazooie, Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and Turok 2. Seeds of Evil expected between September and November. Winter 98 New Year releases will potentially include Resident Evil 2, Hey You, Pikachu, and Donkey Kong 64. An undecided section lists numerous titles, including unreleased games like Super Mario 64 2, Paper Mario, and various 64DD titles. This page presents the N64 Dream ranking, and showcases the top 20 most anticipated N64 games as voted by readers, alongside a currently selling N64 software top 10 chart. Number 1 in the Dream ranking is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, followed by Mother 3, Pokemon Stadium, and F-Zero X. We can see screenshots from Ocarina of Time and Mother 3, featuring Link and characters from the Mother series. The ranking includes many unreleased titles at the time, such as Super Mario RPG 2, Super Mario 642, Kirby 64, and Fire Emblem 64. In the currently selling chart, GQ World Soccer, World Cup France 98 is at the top, with other popular titles like Bomberman Hero, Yoshi's Story, GoldenEye 007, and Mario Kart 64 also featured. The text on the right discusses the anticipation for Zelda, and notes its popularity even at E3 in America, while also mentioning that Mother and Mario RPG are being shown in video form at E3 and are progressing in development. This page presents rankings related to the Nintendo 64. Most Wanted in USA Top 10 Inches from Nintendo Power Magazine highlights anticipated games, with Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time at the top. Nintendo 64 got top 30 inches based on a reader survey, ranks desired games, with Star Fox 64 * as number 1. The reasons for buying Nintendo 64 top 10 inches identifies the primary motivator as, because there are games I want to play. The final section presents a bar chart illustrating game ownership, revealing an average of 36.7 games per reader, with a high of 900. This page showcases the latest installment in the Ogre Battle Saga series. The text highlights the revival of past battles memories. The page features a prominent character illustration and screenshots depicting real-time battles from the game. Likely, Ogre Battle 64, Person of Lordly Caliber, developed by Quest Corp. This page is a preview of Ogre Battle 3, known internationally as Ogre Battle 64, Person of Lordly Caliber. The text describes it as a simulation RPG, positioned at the highest peak of the Ogre Battle series, and located within the timeline of Tactics Ogre. The advert mentions it is for the N64 and aims to create a new legend. The screenshots show gameplay elements including a map view titled Real Field, and a battle screen with character stats and action options. The advert also details the release by Quest, planned for autumn 1998, and is a simulation RPG for one player, price undetermined. This page focuses on Saga Episode 6, subtitled Great Battle That Will Not Become a Big War. It's about the Ogre Battle Saga, Episode 6, set after Ogre Battle V, Legendary Ogre Battle. The story revolves around brave warriors investigating the truth of the Lodician Church and infiltrating the Palatinus Kingdom, a subordinate country of Lotus. The game is set in Palatinus Kingdom. The protagonist, Magnus, graduates from military school and is assigned to the Southern Garrison. The Wars and Tactics section highlights the game's core gameplay centered on battles. Players command units, follow scenarios, and engage in battles, creating and deploying units. Unlike previous Tactics Ogre games, which featured small unit battles, this game emphasizes large-scale army battles, reminiscent of Legendary Ogre Battle. It features a real-time system where unit actions are simultaneous, allowing players to issue commands to multiple units and form formations. The screenshots showcase the game's tactical battles with units moving towards objectives, emphasizing a Legendary Ogre Battle feel. Polygon graphics are used to create a 3D world map with viewpoint changes. Special attacks, like Jihad, are depicted with impressive visuals. Battles are auto-resolved, with players setting up units. Players can have over 100 characters, with various character classes. Units are displayed moving on the map. One unit can have up to 5 characters, including larger-sized characters. The battle graphics are also praised, with special attacks being highlighted. This page details features of a strategy game that was not released internationally. The page is broken into sections detailing field, organization, and event aspects of the gameplay. The field section describes the game's 3D battlefields, mentioning that the strategic maps are in 3D, allowing scrolling in 8 directions and viewpoint changes. It also mentions bases on the field, which are cities or buildings. Units and command icons are shown in screenshots, with the command icon section stating, "These are used for issuing commands to units and setting game environment options." The organization section is about army organization, highlighting the creation of unique squads of diverse soldiers. Players organize units, assign them to legions, and can perform class changes for characters like soldier to change jobs. Unit formation on a 9x9 grid influences attack methods. The information window displays character, unit, and legion details, showing attributes such as fire and water resistance. The event section describes dramatic event scenes woven into the story. These events feature conversations with various characters and reflect player choices, shaping the narrative and the protagonist's destiny. Screenshots illustrate event scenes with characters and dialogue boxes. One event scene shows a character named Magnus in a military academy setting. This page details a real-time battle system, referred to as BTTLE, emphasizing its intensity. It explains that in this game, the player acts as a commander who issues battle commands, and battles unfold automatically. Player intervention is possible via intervention counters. The page outlines key gameplay elements. Character classes are visually distinct, and battles occur on a positioning square grid, where blue represents player units and red signifies enemies. Players can utilize counter commands once an intervention counter fills up during battle. Otherwise, direct intervention is not possible. The page showcases different types of attacks. Magic includes Thunder Flare, a wind-based spell summoning blue lightning for area damage, and Firestorm, a fire-based magic that creates pillars of fire, effective against water-type enemies. Special attacks are also highlighted with Jihad, a powerful angel ability with holy light, and Sonic Boom, a swordmaster's attack creating a vacuum effect, dealing high damage but causing recoil to the user. This page introduces the main characters of the strategy RPG Ogre Battle 64. Person of lordly caliber. 6 characters are showcased with their portraits, names, and ages. Magnus Grant, age 18, is the protagonist, a skilled military leader with a strong sense of justice. Dios Dragne, age 19, is from a noble family and is positioned as Magnus's rival. Leia Silvas, age 17, is also from nobility, but dislikes preferential treatment and can appear cold due to past experiences, but wishes to help those in need. Forecast Demiel, age 59, is the king and founder of the Palatinus kingdom, who came to power 11 years prior after a rebellion. Umil Demiel, age 17, is the second prince. Described as ordinary within the royal family and close to his father the king, he trusts Magnus's family. Richard Grendel, age 43, is the commander of the Imperial Knights and leader of the Rose Knights, renowned for his bravery and military achievements. This page is an E3 version display report for The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. It mentions that this year's E3 event in Atlanta also featured a special exhibit for the game, located on page 107 of the magazine, highlighting that Nintendo of America's booth mainly showcased Zelda. The text conveys excitement and anticipation for the game. The page includes screenshots showing gameplay, Link in various environments and combat, and the game's HUD. The information box on the right details aspects of the game, stating the publisher is Nintendo, the release date is planned for autumn, the genre is a 3D action-adventure, the price is yet to be determined, the ROM size is 256 MB, it's a one-player game, Rumble Pack support is included, and Controller Pack support is yet to be determined. The bottom right corner indicates copyright 1998 Nintendo, and notes the screens are still under development. This page discusses the highly anticipated The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, referring to it as the greatest masterpiece game of the century, now in its final stages of development. It mentions that while a video was shown at E3 the previous year, this year at NOA events, many monitors were set up for people to actually play the game, making it a real demonstration. The article emphasizes that the anticipation for Zelda is worldwide, not just in Japan. People are spending long periods playing, captivated by the exploration and immersive gameplay. It highlights the stunning graphics and the game's ability to draw players in, stating it's more than just a game, describing it as an interactive movie or adventure drama simulation, reaching Miyamoto's ideal of an unseen experience. The article then shifts to focusing on Princess Zelda, revealing her significant role in the story. It mentions a Zelda explanation meeting, where a 114-page document was presented. The page details a demo scene where Link first meets Princess Zelda in the courtyard of Hyrule Castle. The camera work and acting in this conversation scene are praised, describing a scene with long shots, flowers, and Ganondorf observing from within the castle. Zelda's dialogue upon meeting Link is quoted, mentioning fairies, forests, and dreams. The Space World 97 E3 Experience Tour for The Legend of Zelda, likely Ocarina of Time, offered 3 tours: Hyrule, Dungeon, and Battle. The Hyrule Tour featured locations like Kokiri Village, with shops and chickens to interact with, Town of Hyrule, and Kakariko Village, with a 3-minute time limit. The Dungeon Tour showcased areas like the Deku Tree and Dodongo's Lair, highlighting puzzles and control schemes, with the Castle Courtyard game being a favorite. The Battle Tour focused on boss fights against Goma, King Dodongo, and Valvagia, the Flame Dragon. The Valvagia battle, set on a cracked rock arena, involved fire attacks and item usage for victory. Screenshots depicted gameplay in Kokiri Village, Hyrule Castletown, and the Valvagia battle. This article explores hidden secrets in The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, focusing on discoveries made during gameplay. The game features 4 screen types and allows zooming in on specific locations. Items 1, 5, and 9 are special link-only items. The article lists a selection of 12 items, with 3 listed as the Important Item Collect screen details 6 essential sealed mark items, akin to crystals, including the Spirit Stones. The Inventory screen highlights heart containers and 6 musical notes corresponding to melodies playable on the ocarina, using A, B, and C buttons. Movie Time sections showcase in-game scenes. Movie Time 1 features dungeon exploration and slingshot usage. Movie Time 2 shows Link near a large crystal and in a watery area, possibly linked to the Water Temple. This page is all about the latest Zelda information at E3, specifically focusing on a battle against Phantom Ganon from The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. It highlights the impressive graphics and movement of the game, stating it was a major highlight of E3. The article describes a scene in a dimly lit room in a forest setting, where you ascend stairs and encounter Phantom Ganon. It mentions a trick where Phantom Ganon jumps into paintings, and Link needs to anticipate his reappearance to counterattack. The page also discusses the improved spin attack in the game. It notes that while the spin attack was present at Space World 97, it lacked visual effects. Now, the graphics for the spin attack have been significantly enhanced with orange and blue effects. The article speculates about 2 possible control schemes involving the A button and 3D stick. It mentions the Stalfos enemy, a skeleton warrior, highlighting its intelligence and battle skills. It mentions that the Stalfos uses a spin attack, which can be countered by Link's spin attack. The graphics of the spin attack are described as so impressive that they caused a stir at the show. A new enemy, the Big Water Hand Maigadu, was revealed for The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, surprising audiences. The article details gameplay features, including red potions assigned to the C buttons for healing, Hookshot's first-person view, and an Easter egg referencing Mario. The Master Sword's beam attack and a rotating slash attack are also discussed. Kakariko Village's divivable wells and Lake Hylia, with its bridge and island, are highlighted, hinting at secrets and the fishing pond. A stone with an ocarina mark near Hyrule Castle suggests potential ocarina interactions. The article ends by mentioning an Ondu Bean, an event item, and speculates about its function, possibly as the Magic Bean. This page is an advertisement for the upcoming release of Pokémon Stadium on the N64. It's promoting the game as perfect for summer vacation. The advertisement highlights the ability to view battles with live commentary, similar to Star Fox 64 and Konami's sports games. Release details state it's launching on August 1st, priced at 6,800 yen, and will include the 64GB controller pack. The game is described as a battle and picture book style game for 14 players. Although it does not support the controller pack itself for gameplay, the controller pack is needed to transfer Pokémon from the Game Boy games. Screenshots show in-game battles featuring Dugtrio and Tauros. A key feature emphasized is the compatibility with the 64GB pack, allowing players to use their Game Boy Pokémon cartridges with Pokémon Stadium to battle on the N64 in64 screen display, meaning on a TV. The 64GB pack will be bundled with the game, but also sold separately for 1,400 yen. This page is all about Pokémon Stadium. It highlights that there are new features included in this iteration. You can now battle against the CPU, meaning single-player mode is now available. It emphasizes testing your skills against the game's AI. There is also a new training mode, where you can hone your Pokemon battling skills. This mode lets you battle against your own Pokemon to improve your technique. The page mentions it's great for learning weaknesses and strategies, helping you become a top Pokemon master. The Pokédex feature has also been enhanced. It is described as a power-up and easier to use. You can now see Pokemon from various angles with animations and sounds. This allows you to check out details like cries and even different angles of the Pokemon models. The page shows screenshots of Bulbasaur, Exeggutor, Nidoking, Machamp, and Zapdos Pokédex entries, showcasing this improved functionality. The text mentions you can even become a Pokemon professor using this detailed Pokédex. The next page is all about the battles in Pokemon Stadium on the N64. Focusing on the First League rules. It starts by explaining the rules of the first Pokemon League, which was held in 1997, and introduces the battle screen. Players choose 6 Pokemon and use 3 in each battle, and it emphasizes the importance of predicting your opponent's Pokemon to choose advantageous types. The page shows the Pokemon selection screen with pre-selected Pokemon like Charizard, Gyarados, and Dugtrio, and also lists Pokemon choices for 4-player battles such as Pikachu and Articuno. 2 battle examples are highlighted with screenshots. The first battle is Dugtrio vs Starmie, showing Starmie using water-type attacks effectively. The second battle is Charizard against Lapras, demonstrating the fire vs water-type matchup with Charizard using Flamethrower and Lapras using water attacks. The article emphasizes the strategic depth of Pokemon battles in Pokemon Stadium. This page showcases a battle feature, highlighting a fight between Dragonite, Kiryu, and Articuno, Freezer, from the Pokemon series, likely within the game Pokemon Stadium for the Nintendo 64. It mentions this battle as a legendary Pokemon first appearance, and describes a heated clash between the popular Dragonite and the legendary Articuno. The article shows screenshots of the battle, specifically focusing on Dragonite's Bubble Beam attack, hitting Articuno. It notes the visual effects of the attack and the damage dealt. A section titled, "Suffering Method is Also Real," points out the realistic expressions and reactions of Pokemon when they take damage, using Gyarados and Starmie as further examples to demonstrate the impact and pain visually conveyed in the game when they are hit by attacks. This page continues with intense battles in Pokemon Stadium, showcasing the second round league rules. It highlights 2 battles, Nidoking vs Exeggutor and Exeggutor vs Golem. The article mentions Nidoking's move, Thrash, and how visually interesting it is. For the Exeggutor battle, it's noted that even when Exeggutor uses Egg Bomb, it comically doesn't throw its faces. Finally, the battle with Golem focuses on Golem's appearance, its self-destruct move, and its rolling animation. The article appears to be analyzing battle strategies and pointing out fun visual details of Pokemon Stadium. The next page is a battle preview for Pokemon Stadium. It highlights a fight between Rhydon and Alakazam, showcasing the 3D graphics and battle animations. The page mentions that Alakazam uses its psychic powers in the battle. It also shows other Pokemon battles featuring Venusaur, Charizard, Blastoise, and Articuno. The page announces a super special edition for the next issue, which will be released just before the game comes out, and excitedly announces the release date for Pokemon Stadium as August 1, 1998, and emphasizes the 3D battles and encourages readers to compare their own Pokemon in the game. This page showcases the game Banjo-Kazooie, known as Banjo-Kazooie no Daibuken, in Japan, highlighting it as a major title. It mentions that the game is highly anticipated, especially after its showing at E3, where it generated significant buzz. The article emphasizes the game's diverse range of actions and transformations that players can experience. Screenshots illustrate gameplay moments, including Banjo being transformed into a crocodile by Mumbo Jumbo's magic, and a sequence where Banjo is dramatically eaten by a large monster. Game details in the information box confirm Nintendo as the publisher, a planned autumn release date, the genre as 3D action, and support for 1 player. The price is still to be determined at this point. This page highlights Banjo-Kazooie, calling it the Underwater Exploration chapter. It showcases gameplay with Banjo swimming underwater, pointing out the oxygen meter similar to Mario 64. The page then poses the question, who is really the main character? Noting in the screenshots that Banjo seems like the main character, but in other images, Kazooie stands out more. It's mentioned that Kazooie can fly freely inside cave-like areas. Finally, it touches on the game's reception at E3, emphasizing its popularity and comparing it to Zelda, showing screenshots likely from the American release of Banjo-Kazooie. This page is a preview for the N64 game Rakuga Kids, a comical crayon-style battle game. The page highlights the newly revealed drawing mode. It explains that the game is a comical battle action title, and this time they are introducing the battle stage screens. The page showcases and compares two gameplay modes, painting mode and drawing mode. Painting mode. It's described as the familiar game screen with colorful backgrounds that match the game's atmosphere. The text mentions that when character moves are decided, entertaining production effects are shown. It's unclear how many stages there are, but Twinkletown locations seem to be stages. A screenshot shows Cool's Roy using a powerful weapon. Another screenshot shows Robot CHO performing a technique. Drawing mode. This is the newly revealed mode. The backgrounds are simplified and drawn with lines, giving a hand-drawn, picture book feeling. It's described as a mode that lets you enjoy battles in a way you haven't experienced before. A screenshot shows a line-drawn stage where character movements are still unique and fast-paced. Another screenshot shows Astronauts' kick exploding, hitting Robot CHO. Even in this line-drawn style, the game is mentioned to be released on July 23rd, and it is a fighting action genre game from Konami, priced at 6,800 yen. It supports 12 players. This page presents the 8 playable characters from the N64 game Rakugakids and their special techniques. Astronauts uses the Astro Shot, a star projectile attack. Captain Catkit has Air Force Cats, a high-speed spinning body blow. Martha throws various items with her Martha's Prize Possession move. Robot CHO's Thunder Throw grabs and slams opponents with electricity. Bear Tank uses a 3-stage advancing attack called Bear Attack. Cool's Roy. Cool's Roy rides a wooden horse for continuous kicks with Rodeo Drive. Mamzu launches missiles by rotating his arm using Rapid Missile. And Darkness unleashes a powerful claw combo called Darkness Claw. The article describes Rakugakids as a fun action game set to be released soon after summer vacation in Japan, encouraging players to enjoy battles with friends and promising more game details in the next issue. It is highlighted that Rakugakids was released exclusively in Japan for the N64. This page is a preview of the game Akumaju Dracula 3D, which is known internationally as Castlevania 64, published by Konami and classified as an action game. This article provides initial information about the title. It highlights the impressive high-quality 3D graphics, aiming to evoke a sense of fear and tension, mentioning a video shown at E3. The game features a player character named Shunaida, and the screenshots showcase action gameplay with a health bar and gold. The article suggests the game will appeal to longtime fans of the Castlevania series, with familiar elements like traps and gimmicks. Release date and pricing information are still undecided at this stage. This page is a preview of Castlevania 64, known as Dracula 3D in Japan. The article discusses how the game uses multiple camera viewpoints depending on the scene, suggesting button control for viewpoint changes, although this is still unconfirmed. It mentions special attacks beyond the whip and expresses interest in seeing Schneider's techniques. The screenshots showcase gameplay, indicating a status good and status bad display, along with a gold counter and weapon icons. The text highlights the detailed character animations and enemy movements. It questions what kind of enemies will appear and how players will deal with the castle's traps. The article notes that the game was showcased in video at E3 during the Space World Game Show, and expresses anticipation for its autumn release. It emphasizes the high difficulty expected of a Dracula action game, and wonders about the quality and playability of this 3D installment. The text finishes by stating it is a forbidden sanctuary where people should never tread, emphasizing the dangerous atmosphere of the game. Konami's N64 RPG, Hybrid Heaven, is previewed, showcasing its enemies for the first time. Announced at E3 1997, details emerged at E3 1998, with the editorial department gaining access to the latest footage. The enemies appear bizarre, described as mechanical and monster-like. The story's details are still unknown, though the atmosphere is described as adult-like. The preview focuses on the game's enemies, presenting images of 10 characters: Antares, Canopus, Kitalpha, Ceballrai, Corcaroli, Sargas, Spica, Seganus, Zosma, and Algol. A preview questions the origin of these creatures and their role in the game. The game's publisher is Konami, and the genre is RPG. The release date, price, and player count are yet to be decided. A screenshot suggests a character, Patrick Clayton, may be the president, hinting at the game's narrative scope. This page focuses on the combat and action aspects of an upcoming RPG for the N64. The game, set in a metropolis underground, appears to blend action gameplay with command-based battles. Screenshots showcase a menu-driven combat system where players select attacks like punch, kick, and techniques, even specifying the height of kicks. The action scenes shown depict the main character running and climbing walls, suggesting a focus on movement and exploration alongside combat. The article questions if weapons will feature in battles, as the showcase combat is bare-handed, hinting that weapons may be necessary to defeat the monstrous enemies. The game's story seems to revolve around uncovering a conspiracy in the underground city. The page also features portraits of several characters, potentially enemies, with names like Tegmen, Deneb, Dubhe, Naos, Fomalhaut, Procyon, Beid, Polux, and Mekbuda. The overall tone suggests a blend of action and strategic RPG elements in a mysterious, urban underground setting. The next page is a gameplay guide for Star Soldier, Vanishing Earth, a shooting game for the N64. It highlights control methods and gameplay tips to achieve high scores. The page details 4 main control actions. Forward concentration bomb, Z or L button. This bomb type is effective against bosses, but has a narrow attack range. Rolling, R button. This action is for emergency evasion. Speed switching, C, down button. This feature allows players to switch between 3 speed levels in the game. Normal shot, A button. This is the basic attack, a reliable rapid-fire shot. The guide mentions that players can control their ship with either the 3D stick or the D-pad. The 3D stick allows for more precise control, while the D-pad offers quicker movements. It notes that famed gamer Takahashi Meijin prefers using the D-pad. The screenshots show gameplay footage illustrating these actions and different game scenarios. It emphasizes that mastering ship control is the first step to getting high scores in Star Soldier, Vanishing Earth. This page introduces the game modes and playable ships of a shooting game called Batrider Shooting. It details 3 game modes. Normal mode, which is the main mode with 7 stages. 2-minute mode designed for score attack, focusing on hit combos and bonus bosses. And 5-minute mode also for score attack, emphasizing hit combos and bonus Zeeg collection. But it's noted that maintaining concentration for 5 minutes can be challenging. 3 ships are highlighted. F-98 VENIDIUM. Described as balanced in attack range and power, easy to use and capable of rear attacks. F-98 LATHYRUS, the fastest ship with narrow frontal attack range but devastatingly powerful main attack, suited for hit combos. And F-98 WISTERIA, a slower ship with weaker attack power but strong in all directional attacks, also good for score attack and hit combos. The page also mentions Star Force as the original title from Tekken, now Tecmo, noting it as a faithfully ported arcade game praised for its quality. It also mentions bonus and hidden characters, and compares it favorably to Xevious as a classic Famicom shooting game, emphasizing its enduring appeal and fun gameplay even now. The game was originally released on June 25, 1985, for 4,900 yen. This page highlights Mission 4 of a shooting game called Pursuit. The game's story is about pursuing Zeograd, who escaped from Earth's military base and landed on Mars. The player must navigate through a plant submerged on Mars and defeat Zeograd. The Mission 4 boss is called Intruder. The page also features 2 games. Star Soldier, released on June 13, 1986 for 4,900 yen, described as a legendary vertical scrolling shooter with 16 continuous shots being key to high scores, and Hector 87, released on July 16, 1987 for 5,000 yen. A series title with both vertical and horizontal scrolling stages, where aerial and ground attacks are used and damage control is emphasized, making it challenging. This page previews the shooting game Terrible Dread Zone, focusing on Mission 5 and its boss, Falcon, who you will encounter in the orbit of Jupiter. The game is set against the backdrop of Earth's final defense line against the hostile Zeograd fleet, with the narrative hinting at a greater purpose beyond just defeating enemies. Screenshots showcase intense gameplay, highlighting attack patterns and boss encounters, like dodging powerful lasers and exploiting openings. The page also features classic PC Engine shooters Gunhead and Super Star Soldier. Gunhead, released in July 1989, is presented as a pinnacle of shooting evolution and a PC Engine classic, celebrated for its weapon and item variety. Super Star Soldier, from July 1990, is touted for its engaging score attack mode, bringing back memories of Hector 87 and Star Soldier, and blending elements of both Star Soldier and Gunhead in its gameplay style, with a noted slightly higher difficulty in the normal mode. The next page is titled Reminiscence, and seems to be looking back at shooting games. It mentions that someone was sent to a strange data space and encountered mechanical and biological creatures from F-98, things from Xenograde, and early Earth. It feels like a nostalgic look back at battle machine landscapes. The page then focuses on two games, Final Soldier and Star Paradier. Final Soldier for PC Engine HuCard is described as the Hudson shooting completion type. It's said to have a similar system to Superstar Soldier but with slightly lower difficulty. The music is good and it offers a sense of speed in its shooting gameplay. It was released on July 5, 1991, and priced at 6,500 yen. Star Paradier for PC Engine Super CDROM Squared is described as adventurous shooting to help Parodius. It features various unique characters and enemies in a comical parody-style shooting game. You can choose from 3 characters: Bomberman, Parocesar, and PC Engine. It also has a score attack mode and is considered quite authentic, despite its comical nature. It was released on April 24, 1992, and priced at 6,800 yen. The screenshots show gameplay from both games, highlighting boss battles and stage designs. The descriptions mention boss names like Starbrain MK3 and Big Star Brain Maxima. The page emphasizes the nostalgic feeling and the fast-paced shooting action of these games. This page is an advertisement for a Star Soldier score attack campaign hosted by Takahashi Meijin. The campaign includes score challenges in normal mode, 2-minute mode, and 5-minute mode of the game. Top scorers in each category will receive prizes, including a special Star Soldier strategy video and possibly a trophy. The advertisement details how to enter the competition, specifying required information like the game score, password, address, and age to be sent via postcard. The campaign period is from July 10th to the end of August. The page also highlights 2 games, Soldier Blade for PC Engine HuCard, released on July 10, 1992, and Star Soldier, Vanishing Earth, describing it as a new title with improved graphics, speed, and added story elements compared to previous games in the Gunhead series. This page introduces Super B-Daemon Battle Phoenix 64 for the Nintendo 64. It highlights the 4-player battle mode as a key feature, emphasizing chaotic and exciting gameplay. The game is described as an action title from Hudson, released on July 24th, priced at 6,800 yen, and requiring 64 MB of memory. It supports 1 to 4 players and controller packs, but not vibration packs. The page details the battle mode, explaining that the N64's 4 controller ports make 4-player battles possible. It explains the basic rules involve hitting opponents with B-Daemon marbles to knock them off the field. If you get hit by 3 marbles consecutively, you enter Rage mode. Stage descriptions are provided, including Normal Stage, Dokkan Stage with explosions, and Biribiri Stage with electric currents, plus a hidden Tsurutsuru Stage with ice, totaling 5 stages. The objective across all stages is to knock opponents off the stage by hitting them with B-Daemon marbles. Screenshots show gameplay on different stage types, including a normal field, and a stage that shrinks over time. This page is about the control systems in Battle B-Daemon 64. It details 2 control types available in the game. The Standard type, which focuses on aiming and shooting B-Daemon marbles, and the Movement type, which emphasizes controlling the trajectory of the B-Daemon. For the Standard type, the R button is used for B-Daemon items, C button has no function, A and B buttons are for firing B-Daemon, and the Z button allows for a charged shot. The 3D stick controls aiming within the aiming reticle. For the Movement type, the R button again is for B-Daemon items, the C button changes the viewpoint, A and B buttons fire B-Daemon, and the Z button is for charged shots, allowing for longer distance shots. The 3D stick is used to change the firing direction. The page also highlights original characters created for the game, mentioning that in Battle B-Daemon 64, original characters not seen in the anime appear, and lists character names from left to right. Finally, it announces that Battle B-Daemon 64 will be released on July 24th, and encourages readers to look forward to more detailed information next month. This page is a preview for the game WIND BCK, a 3D gun action title for the N64. The game's premise revolves around an emergency directive to recover a satellite weapon after terrorists seize the Gulf Control Center. The Special Armored Commando Team, SCAT, is urgently deployed. The preview highlights that the game features a total of 4 stages, focusing on 3: outside ground, main office, and factory area. Screenshots and descriptions provide a glimpse into each stage's environment and gameplay. The outside ground stage appears to be exterior with military vehicles. The main office showcases an indoor office setting. The factory area seems to be an industrial location. It is mentioned that the game primarily takes place indoors and will involve intense action in locations like factories and offices. The game is slated for release in winter of 1998, published by Koei, and is a single-player game compatible with Rumble Packs and Controller Packs. This page introduces 2 new characters, Steven Regal and Mash Brown, for a game developed by KOEI in 1998. Steven Regal is described as 180 centimeters tall, 80 kilograms, 33 years old, and is the Scott squad leader, a capable individual with a stern personality, seen as a mentor by other members. Mash Brown is 183 centimeters tall, 90 kilograms, 33 years old, known for his trademark mustache, and is a cheerful mood maker in the Scott Special Forces. The page highlights the importance of stance and movement during gameplay, emphasizing different postures like standing, crouching, alert running, silent movement, and fastest running, each with advantages and disadvantages for visibility and speed. It also details weapon mechanics, noting that quick reloading is crucial, and that unlike older action games, realistic reloading is required. The page features sections on shotguns, machine guns, and handguns, suggesting these are the weapon types available in the game. The game emphasizes tactical gameplay, requiring players to be aware of their surroundings and choose their movements carefully. The next page dives into a time attack campaign for the game Super Speed Race 64, which was known internationally as Nigel Mansell's World Championship Racing. This campaign is encouraging players to master the time attack mode to earn a victory code. Those who achieve the top 10 fastest times will be invited to the All Japan GAT Championship at Fuji Speedway and receive paddock passes. To participate, players need the game, and the article suggests using the Lamborghini Diablo and selecting either hard or expert difficulty in championship mode. The key to success is aiming for overall victory in time attack, as the victory code is tied to this achievement and not available with the Countach car. The article emphasizes that players should strive for first place to secure the victory code. The next page is about getting faster times in races, specifically in Lamborghini Super Racing. The article suggests that the Diablo car is harder to handle than the Countach. It provides advice on cornering techniques, emphasizing understanding the characteristics of each corner for entry and exit. The guide also discusses pit stops and tire management, asking how long you can last with worn tires. Screenshots illustrate gameplay scenarios, including cornering and pit stops. Commentary from someone named Andre is included, where he shares his experience of dominating the course and finishing in first place for all 4 laps. The tips include considering corner entry speed, using out-and-out lines, and counter-steering when drifting with worn tires. This page is all about 64 Trump Collection, Alice's Waku Waku Trump World, a table game for the N64. The game is based on Alice in Wonderland, and this page specifically details the story mode. The story mode is described as having 7 chapters, each split into 2 parts. To advance through the story, players will engage in trump card battles against the inhabitants of Wonderland. The page outlines the beginning of the first chapter. Alice is in the forest reading when she spots the white rabbit and follows him down the rabbit hole. She finds herself in a room with a strange bottle, and after taking a sip, she suddenly shrinks. The game is listed as a table genre game, with a planned July release, priced at 6,980 yen, requiring 64 megabytes of memory and supporting 1 to 4 players. It is compatible with the Vibration Pack but not the Controller Pack. It seems this game was only released in Japan and did not get an international release. The next page is about enjoying card games in a game format, with a focus on 3 main categories. The first is Standard Mode, described as a way to enjoy card games at your own pace, offering 15 different types of trump card games where you can even play against computer opponents. The second category is Party Games, highlighting the fun of playing together, but noting that CPU opponents are available if friends aren't around. This section lists 9 familiar card games, including Concentration, Memory, Old Maid, Sevens, Speed, Doubt, Bullshit, Page 1, similar to Uno, President, Dobon, and 7 Bridge. The third category is Gamble games, referring to card games like blackjack and poker, with a screenshot showing a blackjack game in progress, labeled 21. Finally, solitaire and fortune-telling games are presented for solo play, featuring Free Cell, Klondike, White Rabbit Personality Judgment, and Fortune Shuffle, totaling 4 types with a screenshot showing a solitaire game. The next page is about the racing game Choro Q64, announcing its release date as July 17th. The page provides an introduction to the game, calling it a Choro Q training school, and explains the basic controls and screen display. The screen view section details the HUD elements, including lap time, lap count, player position, map, speedometer, and special attack parts usage. The controller usage section describes the functions of each button on the Nintendo 64 controller for the game. A button for accelerate, B button for brake, R button for horn and back up when speed is 0 and A is pressed, C button for camera angle and map/tachometer switching, Z button for special attack item use, Start button for pause, and 3D stick for steering. The game's information box lists Takara as the publisher, the genre as racing, the price as 6,800 yen, the memory size as 64 MB, and player count as 14 players. It also notes Rumble Pack incompatibility and controller pack compatibility. This page is about the Choro Q, or Penny Racers game series, showcasing 13 different car body types players can choose from. It explains that while you can select your car body from the start, the real game is in winning races to acquire parts like engines and tires to improve your car's performance, as the body itself is just for looks. The page includes screenshots of the game's interface for customizing your vehicle and actual gameplay footage of races. It highlights that to truly succeed, you need to win races and strategically collect better parts to upgrade your car beyond just its appearance. This page is a course introduction for the N64 game Choro Q64, known internationally as Penny Racers. It showcases different course types: on-road, off-road, and ice road. Under on-road, there are courses like Gentle Suburbs, which is described as a peaceful course with little undulation, and Forest of Gohan, which is said to be slightly more difficult in the rain. Port Town is also listed as a race in town with general traffic. Off-road courses include Peaceful Mountain Path, where you can enjoy the scenery but might fall off, and Night Ruins with traps and pillars to avoid. Volcanic Zone is described as dangerous with deep fog, falling rocks, and narrow roads. Finally, Ice Road features Great Snow Mountain, where visibility is poor due to snow, and Cave of Stalactites, where stalactites fall, and you need to be careful not to fall. Frozen Continent is also mentioned as a course that is easy to drift on if you get used to the setting. At the bottom, there is an advertisement for a limited edition, customizable Choro Q blue metallic version toy car, highlighting its collectability and price. It mentions this special version is included in the initial production run of Choro Q64. It's described as having great modification parts and allowing for customizable racing. This page is a preview of Simcopter 64. It highlights the game being a helicopter simulation where you fly freely in a 3D world. The article emphasizes the fun of flying in 3D space and taking on missions. Missions involve extinguishing fires and rescuing people. The game world includes cities like Egypt, California, Tokyo, and the Alps, with famous landmarks recreated. There are 4 types of helicopters with different performance characteristics, such as speed and maneuverability. The player can earn points based on their mission success. The game features a story where you must stop the evil plans of the Heko Heko gang. Screenshots depict gameplay scenarios like extinguishing fires, rescuing people, and patrolling the city. The game is described as a mission-based game, allowing free mission selection with a high degree of freedom. The game's information panel states the publisher is Electronic Arts Square, the release date is September 25th, the price is 6,800 yen, the ROM size is 64 MB, the genre is simulation, it's for 1 player, and it supports the Rumble Pack. This page is a preview of the N64 game Dizaimon 3D, a game creation tool set to be released on June 26. Captain Diza introduces the game, summarizing past articles for new readers. It's highlighted as an easy-to-use tool for creating 3D polygon shooting games, allowing users to design polygon models and backgrounds. The game also includes sample games like Solid Gear and USAGI. A helpful tutorial mode with Captain Deriza and a boy named Kentakun is featured to guide players. The screenshots show the game's interface and the type of games that can be created. Captain Deza, talking directly to the reader, mentions feedback and encourages players to make interesting games using Dezaimon 3D. The game's details include a price of 7,800 yen, genre listed as etc., memory size of 128 M, one player, Rumble Pack compatible but Controller Pack not compatible. Mushi Tsuri 64, a bug fishing RPG for the N64, centers on a bug fishing family. Players choose a family member, each with unique fishing objectives and preferred bug types. Father Hideo, aiming for first place in the annual tournament, Mother Toshiko seeking fish for celebratory dishes, elder brother Ichiro competing with a friend, elder sister Mariko seeking a river encounter, younger brother Jiro exterminating bugs, and younger sister Kyoko catching bugs for her cat, all have distinct goals. The game, published by Pack-and-Soft, supports a single player with Rumble Pack and Controller Pack compatibility. Though details like release date, price, and capacity are TBD, the game boasts realistic graphics, particularly for fish and water. The next page introduces Chameleon Twist 2, a 3D action game and sequel, highlighting that the chameleon hero is back with new tongue-based attacks to explore a mysterious world. This time the setting is Japan, specifically designed to feel like an Edo-era town. The preview emphasizes the unique and strange enemies players will encounter, describing them as bizarre and interesting characters. It mentions the game is single-player, supports the Controller Pack, and is published by Japan System Supply with a planned winter release, though price and storage capacity are still to be determined. Enemy characters showcased include a ninja bird, a Daruma doll, a rice cake, and a shogi piece, each with a brief description of their abilities or characteristics. This page is all about the N64 game Olympic Hockey 98, officially released on July 16, 1998. It's a sports game priced at 6,800 yen, requiring 64 megabytes of memory, and supports 1 to 4 players. It doesn't support the Rumble Pack, but does support the Controller Pack. The page is a game guide focused on attack and defense strategies. It highlights the importance of shooting first in attack and preventing the opponent from keeping the puck in defense. It details basic attack moves like shooting, passing, bursting, player switching, and power shots, along with their button controls. For defense, it covers steering, stealing, bursting, player switching, and diving actions and their controls. Going deeper into attack, it teaches advanced techniques like slap shots, wrist shots, and pass and dash plays to outmaneuver opponents and score goals. On the defensive side, it explains advanced skills such as checking, hooking, and tripping to disrupt the opponent's play and regain puck control. The page uses screenshots to illustrate gameplay and demonstrate these techniques. This page showcases the One Guy Monster feature, highlighting reader-submitted monster designs for a Dream Monster project by Bottom Up. 5 reader creations are featured this month from different prefectures, with monsters named Blast, Montree, Moribi, Goblin Bird, and Tornado. Bottom Up Dream is mentioned as a training simulation game under development by Bottom Up, planned for a November release, with the price and player count yet to be determined. The page indicates that the reader-submitted monster designs are being developed into CG models for the game, with a CG reveal anticipated soon. A comment from Bottom Up staff member Nagawa-san expresses gratitude for the many reader submissions and excitement for the game's progress. Letters Paradise showcases reader interactions. The editorial department boasts club activities like the Beard Club. One reader anticipates FZEROX, even buying a large TV, while another questions the age of gamers, countered by the author's over 50 father enjoying Derby Stallion. Another reader found Kirby's Dream Land 3 inches challenging. Speculation surrounds the next Kirby game on the 64DD, potentially called Kirby 64, with mention of its sound recognition system. The page includes reader-submitted illustrations like Fukumochi Chizuru and a call for more. There's also art expressing hope for a Dragon Quest IV remake. This page is a sticker sheet featuring artwork from several Nintendo 64 games. The main focus is on F-Zero X, with a large logo and many character and machine stickers from the game. Other games featured include Star Soldier, Vanishing Earth, Olympic Hockey 98, Super Robot Spirits, and artwork from Yoshi's Story. The stickers appear to be designed for use on Nintendo 64 game cartridges and controller packs. Text suggests these are special stickers from the 64Dream magazine Volume 23, celebrating the second anniversary of the N64 release. This page is a plain yellow page with no content. This page is a GameSoft Fan Club special section, highlighting the Josette FC Fan Club, which is keeping its top position. They're planning a Josette costume and hairstyle contest for the next special issue, with a submission deadline of June 27th. The page also features updates from the Fire Emblem FC and Zelda FC fan clubs, both of which are also popular. There's an announcement that postcards received have exceeded 1,000, and the next issue will be a special commemorative edition. Fan comments and illustrations related to Josette, Fire Emblem, and Zelda are showcased as reader submissions, along with postcard counts for each fan club. A section titled My FE Round Essay focuses on fan essays about Fire Emblem. The next page showcases reader submissions in the Letters Paradise 64 section. The main research room delves into the impactful final scenes of works by the director known as Murderous Tomino, citing anime like Invincible Superman Zambot 3, Invincible Steelman Daytarn 3, and various Gundam series including Mobile Suit Gundam, Zeta Gundam, and Char's Counterattack, as well as Heavy Metal L Game, Aura Battler Dunbine, Legendary Giant Ideon, and by Stonewell Story Wings of Radian. The discussion touches upon the tragic nature and war themes prevalent in these series. The Image Research Room and special exhibition areas display fan artwork from readers, especially highlighting submissions from Hanuman, featuring characters and mecha from series such as Fighting General Daimos, Blue Comet SPT Leisner, Gundam Wing, and Daytarn 3. The page also announces the conclusion of The Explosion, Suba Robo Research Institute Corner after a 3-month run, expressing gratitude to readers and mentioning a prize for the winner, Forrester Bear. This page features an article discussing the evolution of game machines and software, referencing the newly announced Sega Dreamcast and the author's perspective as someone working on N64 coverage, particularly the 64Dream publication. The article highlights the D2 game announcement, noting its impressive graphics and movement, and draws comparisons to the visual quality of N64 games like GoldenEye 007, while pondering if such advancements truly resonate with players beyond games like Pokémon on Game Boy, Final Fantasy on PlayStation, and Mario Kart on N64. In other sections, Pistol de Rolf peeks into the editorial staff's lunch habits, showcasing Keisuke with a hamburger, Mochi with cup ramen and onigiri, and Chizuru with mentaiko and sweets, alongside Mashi's healthy homemade Pikachu bento. A Q&A section addresses a reader's question about 64Dream staff salaries, revealing they are so-so, allowing a basic life in Tokyo, but not luxury, with editor Mochi humorously depicted as often broke due to game and toy purchases. Scoop Fukumochi Journey announces Fukumochi's departure on a new self-discovery trip, assuring readers that Bistro 64 will still receive culinary insights from their travels, while this month's Watermelon and Obituary Corner add lighter and farewell notes respectively, the latter soliciting reader contributions like column ideas and caricatures in light of Fukumochi's departure. This page showcases the Rokuyan Dream Unauthorized Questionnaire, where readers voted for their favorite N64 games from the previous month. Super Mario 64 unsurprisingly took the top spot, praised for its sheer fun and innovative 3D action. GoldenEye 007 came in second, celebrated for its intense action, multiplayer, and overall coolness. Star Fox 64 rounded out the top 3, commended for its characters and emotional depth. The page also features reader questions in the 64 Detective Mini section. One question asks about Suika, revealing them to be a chipmunk character from Analog Chat, who is known to be a game enthusiast alongside Chizuru. Another question inquires about Andre's childhood, describing him as a chubby kid who later became strong, mentioning he has twin sisters, and trained by playing fighting games with his older sister. There's also a special feature titled, Where is Yamagata?, discussing Yamagata's gaming skills, which declined after playing too much Daily Cup. Finally, the bottom section provides a timeline of Fukumotochi's personal history from 1983 to 2000, ending with a farewell message as Rokuyan Dream concludes, though Bistro will continue. An image at the bottom right shows plush toys. This article explores creative uses of the pocket camera, an accessory for the Game Boy camera, encouraging players to move beyond basic photography. It showcases user-submitted images in sections like Artist's Cafe and Pretty Pet Shop, featuring quirky art and Pokemon-themed photos. Laugh! Pocket Camera Dojo highlights humorous submissions. The guide reveals hidden features, including unlocking secret photos in the album by meeting specific criteria in minigames like Ball, Space Fever 2, and Run! 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 Tips are provided for the Space Fever boss. Players can unlock Pokemon stamps in the BL game based on score milestones and reverse print stamps with a button hold. Sound data can also be printed. The article suggests hidden pocket camera tricks within photo comments. Readers are invited to submit their creations to 64Dream Pocket Camera City. This page is from Letters Paradise 64 and is themed around the concept of null in the game industry, presented with a humorous, private Null Academy concept for new student recruitment. The page explores what it means to be null-like, or dandy, within the gaming world. The Industry Null Guide section lists examples of null behaviors, such as only trusting game magazine information, only playing popular games like Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy, being picky about games, and dismissing the Nintendo 64. An interview segment titled Null Witness Discovered in the Industry features a person named T, recounting an encounter with a null individual in the game industry. This person boasted about clearing Final Fight, even specifying Guy as the character and referring to PlayStation games as P-Stee. They also tried to borrow money and applied tube glue to T's clothes. Lastly, there's a short humorous story called Commuting Ornament Null, about a person on the train who rushes to secure a seat and is labeled a commuting null. The overall tone is lighthearted and satirical, poking fun at certain attitudes and behaviors within the game industry. This article details a quiz and reader participation section called Nuru Drill, from a magazine focusing on lukewarm topics, likely related to the N64. The quiz features questions about Hudson Soft's offices and Star Soldier, Vanishing Earth, the actions of a major game maker collaborating with magazines, a Zulgur release and its impact, royalties for strategy guides, and advertising in magazines with high ad rates. The article then invites readers to participate. Readers are encouraged to submit answers to the Nuru Drill questions, as well as character designs for a mascot for Nuru Game Academy, offering prizes for chosen submissions. Additionally, the Nuru Things section solicits reader submissions about Nuru aspects of their daily lives, with examples like an incomplete game opening. Finally, it provides an address for submissions, including seasonal topics and toys, with a deadline at the end of the month, and announces the next month's theme as Industry Nuru Rendezvous Edition. This page is the start of the strategy guide section in the magazine, announcing the summer campaign. It mentions that after the rainy season, it's time for hot summer, and suggests playing games in a cool room instead of sweating outside. The page highlights 3 games for strategy guides: FZEROX, with 18 course point strategies covered on pages 67 to 86, and map-based strategy in a second part from pages 87 to 91, Extreme G, and Super Robot Spirits, which features a fighting guide for 5 characters on pages 92 to 97. This page is a preview for the N64 game F-Zero-X. It highlights the release information as July 14th, and the price of 5,800 yen. The article boasts that you can play 100 times and describes it as a highly anticipated racing game, mentioning it's been about 8 years since the Super Famicom version. The page details several game modes: Time Attack for fastest lap records, GP Race, which is a standard Grand Prix across 6 courses with 30 machines, Death Race, where you compete to eliminate 29 other machines, and VS Battle for 24 players to compete against each other. There are also practice and options modes. Screenshots showcase the high-speed racing action, the mode select screen, and the VS Battle split-screen gameplay. The text emphasizes the exciting and varied gameplay experiences offered by F-Zero-X. This page highlights various modes in F-Zero-X. It details the Grand Prix race for single players, where you compete against 29 rival machines across 6 courses with increasing difficulty levels. The page also explains the VS Battle mode for 24 players, with options for computer opponents, slot-based elimination, and handicap matches. It also provides a points table for placement in VS battles depending on the number of players. Death Race is described as a mode where you aggressively attack rival machines to eliminate them, using side and spin attacks, with boost available from the first lap on dedicated courses, and the race ends when all rivals are eliminated or you retire. Finally, time attack mode is for setting the fastest time on courses, with a ghost feature to race against your own or developer ghosts, and top times and machines used are recorded. This guide outlines essential controls and techniques for F-Zero X on the N64. The A button accelerates, and the B button provides a booster, available after the first lap, consuming energy. Steering is controlled with the 3D stick, and start pauses the game. The Z and R triggers are used for slide and drift turns. Z for left slide/right drift, and R for right slide/left drift. C buttons cycle through viewpoints, provide an air brake, C down, and display lap times/course leader view, cleft. Attacks include side attacks, double tap R or Z to push opponents, and spin attacks, R plus Z and Z for right spin, Z plus R, and R for left spin. Effective racing strategy involves mastering slide and drift turns, using R/Z with stick input, for cornering, proving more effective than stick turning alone. This page is a guide to understanding the game screen and machine settings, clearly for a racing game, which is undoubtedly F-Zero X. The page begins by breaking down the heads-up display, explaining elements like the energy meter, which shows machine damage, lap count, and the rankings of the top 6 racers. It also highlights the spare machine count for continuing after retirement, and the rival checkmark, which alerts you when enemies are close behind. The time display and attack count are also featured, along with course leader indicator and speed meter. Moving on, the guide details course features you'll encounter, such as pit areas for energy recovery, dash plates for speed boosts, jump plates, traps, and dart zones which reduce speed. The machine settings section emphasizes that while in novice and standard classes, you can choose machines based on preference, in expert class, machine settings become crucial. It highlights 3 key elements: body, boost, and grip, and presents example machines like Hellhawk, Black Bull, and TWIN NORITTA, showcasing their attribute ratings across acceleration, top speed, boost, and grip. The guide also explains how adjusting settings impacts performance, with options to prioritize acceleration or top speed, affecting handling and boost capabilities. This page introduces the characters and their machines from the Nintendo 64 game F-Zero X. It showcases Captain Falcon with the Blue Falcon, Dr. Stewart and his Golden Fox, Samurai Goro piloting the Fire Stingray, Pico with the Wild Goose, Jody Summer and the White Cat, Baba and the Iron Tiger, and MM Gazelle driving the Red Gazelle. For each machine, there are weight details and ratings for body, boost, and grip performance. The page sets the scene by mentioning that these pilots are participating in the F-Zero Grand Prix, each with their own ambitions for racing. Short descriptions are provided for each character and machine combination, giving a glimpse into their background or racing style. This page showcases character and machine profiles for the game F-Zero X. It introduces several racers: Octoman and his Deep Claw machine, Dr. Clash with Crazy Bear, Mr. EAD piloting Great Star, Billy and the Mad Wolf, Silver Nielsen with Night Thunder, Goma and Shio in Twin Narita, Biorex driving Big Fang, and John Tanaka with Wonder Wasp. Each profile includes the racer's name, machine weight, and rankings, 1, 2, 3, likely for stats such as body, boost, and grip, indicated by letters A to E. Brief descriptions in Japanese provide background information about each character and their racing style, highlighting their origins and motivations in the F-Zero X Grand Prix. The next page showcases character and machine profiles from the game F-Zero X. It features 8 characters: Mrs. Arrow with her Queen Meteor machine, Super Arrow piloting the King Meteor, Blood Falcon and his Hellhawk, Jack Levin with the Astro Robin, James McLeod driving the Little Wyvern, Zoda in the Death Anchor, Michael Chain and the Wild Boar, and finally Kate Allen with the Super Piranha. Each character profile includes their machine's weight and performance ratings in categories 1, 2, and 3. Short descriptions detail each character's background and motivations within the F-Zero 10th world, highlighting aspects like Mrs. Arrow being a wife and pilot, Super Arrow being a hero, Blood Falcon's villainous nature, Jack Levin's popularity with female fans, James McLeod's mercenary background, Zoda as an evil figure, Michael Chain's leadership, and Kate Allen's singing career and racing debut. The next page is a feature on the F-Zero Grand Prix character guide, showcasing 6 racers. Roger Buster and his mighty Hurricane machine, Leon piloting the Space Angler, Drac with the mighty Typhoon, Antonio Guster driving the Green Panther, Beastman in the Hyperspeeder, and Black Shadow with the Black Bull. Each character has a profile that includes their machine name, weight, and rating across 3 categories marked 1, 2, and 3, rated from A to E. There is also a short bio for each racer. The bottom of the page mentions that 30 pilots participate in the F-Zero Grand Prix and highlights Mr. EAD from Nintendo's EAD development department, suggesting he may be related to future Mario characters as a cyborg. James McCloud is also mentioned as the father of Fox McCloud from Star Fox, hinting at machine similarities between the games. This page is a strategy guide for F-Zero X, covering the 3 cups, Jack, Queen, and King, and its 18 courses. The guide focuses on point-based strategies and course. It highlights that initially, players can only choose from 6 machines out of a total of 30. By winning in the Grand Prix, more machines become available. The page shows the machine select screen and a total ranking table, which tracks performance across 6 courses within a Grand Prix to determine the winner. There's also a section called Andre Instructor's Corner, where expert advice is given on cornering techniques. Andre, an editor gamer who has mastered F-Zero X, recommends prioritizing high-speed settings and using side attacks like R and R, Z and Z to navigate corners quickly without losing speed or taking damage from rival collisions. The guide also mentions techniques for slip correction and emphasizes the difficulty in unlocking all 30 machines, even after winning all cups at all levels. This page is a course guide for the Jack Cup in F-Zero X, giving tips for the Mute City and Silence tracks. Mute City is rated as easy, perfect for beginners to learn the controls and get a feel for the speed. The advice highlights using dash plates and practicing cornering techniques. Silence, on the other hand, is a high-speed course with many corners and dash plates. The guide emphasizes memorizing dash plate locations to maintain top speed. And it mentions that while the course looks simple, victory depends on using the dash plates effectively and taking advantage of the winding nature of the track. The winning strategy section advises that to get first place in the Jack Cup, players must beat 29 rivals and recommends using boost from the second lap onwards, but carefully managing its distribution. The Andor settings section shows the Fire Stingray machine and pilot Samurai Goro, noting its stats with body rated A, boost at D, and grip at B. The next page is a course guide for the Jack Cup in F-Zero X. It details 2 courses, Sand Ocean and Devil's Forest. Sand Ocean is described as a mostly pipe-shaped course where you can drive on both the top and bottom. The difficulty is rated as 3 stars. The guide advises drivers to be careful not to fall off the pipe and to stick to the inside of corners to shorten the distance and improve lap times, especially in pipe corners. Devil's Forest is described as a screw or twisting course. It has a 2-star difficulty rating. The guide points out that it's a wide course where speed can be gained, but drivers should be cautious of dart zones placed in corners. For this course, it is better to run on the outside of corners if there are no rivals nearby, and to use boost effectively, particularly after dart zones and on straight sections. This page is a course strategy guide for the Jack Cup in F-Zero X. It highlights 2 courses, Big Blue and Port Town. For BIG BLUE, described as a cylinder course, the advice is to stick to the outside walls of the cylinder, which makes up about half of the course. It warns that excessive force can cause you to fall off. Tips include starting slow and getting used to the cylinder sections. For Port Town HIJUMP, described as the final course of the JKCUP, it mentions dash plates for high jumps and a generally wide road. However, it notes that speed can cause loss of grip in corners. Tips focus on using dash plates, adjusting weight balance for high jumps, and mastering side attacks for corners, suggesting using them even after jumps and in high-speed curves. Both sections feature screenshots of gameplay, with numbered tips and arrows guiding the player through the course. The difficulty rating for BIG BLUU is 4 stars, and for Port Town is also 4 stars. The bottom section is titled Path to Victory, emphasizing the use of dash plates and side attacks for cornering in Port Town, mentioning the Fire Stingray machine and Samurai Goroh character as examples. This page is a course, or course guide, for the Queen Cup in F0X. It details 2 courses, Sector Alpha Rollover and Red Canyon Jump. Sector Alpha Rollover is described as having loop sections near the starting point, featuring undulating terrain, wide roads, and narrow areas where crashes can occur. The advice is that machines with good grip are advantageous for the Queen Cup tracks overall. Red Canyon Jump is described as a course filled with dashes, jumps, and sudden curves. It mentions walls on both sides, corners where you can easily crash if you bulge out too much, and narrow roads. It's suggested that while it is enjoyable, taking the top position is difficult. Techniques are required, especially in areas where rivals tend to bunch up. Boosting is important from the second lap onwards, and side attacks in corners are effective. The pit area is short, so be mindful of energy. For both courses, there are visual aids with screenshots and arrows, indicating the course layout and key points. The Path to Victory section for Sector Alpha emphasizes damage being easily taken, and the importance of using boost from the second lap. For Red Canyon, it highlights 4 large corner areas requiring speed control, side attacks, and boosting from the pit area. The recommended machine is BIG FANG, noted for its B-grade body and boost, and A-grade grip. This page covers course strategies for the Queen Cup in F0X, detailing 2 courses, Devil's Forest 2 and Mute City 2. Devil's Forest 2 is rated as a 3-star difficulty course, described as having undulating terrain with sharp corners, requiring speed control, and a short pit area. The screenshots highlight the starting line, jump plates, and hairpin corners, with tips focusing on using jump plates and navigating corners effectively. Mute City 2 is rated as a 4-star difficulty course, characterized by narrow roads and numerous corners. While the overall road width is not particularly narrow, rival machines tend to cluster, making it feel tighter. The strategy emphasizes attacking opponents in these clustered areas. The screenshots show the starting line, narrow sections, and rival attacks, advising players to deal with rivals and master cornering techniques. General gameplay advice mentions the importance of jumps and pit areas, noting the pit area in this cup is short, suggesting dash plates are limited to 2 laps. Players are encouraged to use jump plates to pass through the pit and to consider center of gravity while jumping. The page emphasizes learning courses through repeated play and mastering cornering techniques to secure first place. A recommended machine setting called Andal setting for the Big Fang machine is provided, with body B, boost D, and grip A. The final tip is to practice repeatedly to familiarize oneself with the courses. This page is a course guide for the N64 game F0X, featuring 2 courses, Big Blue 2 and Whiteland. Big Blue 2 is described as a difficult course with right-angle corners and sections without guardrails. The guide mentions that while there is a pit area, once you retire, recovery is impossible, suggesting avoiding retirement is crucial. The tip for winning emphasizes using side attacks in sharp corners. Whiteland is presented as a step-up road course with continuous jump plates and a varied layout, including long straights without fences and tunnels. The guide suggests that even on expert difficulty, a player can aim for first place and clear the course with average skills. The winning tip for Whiteland points out the course has many guardrails, but also fast sections without them, advising caution with boosting and energy management. The Andor settings section displays the stats for a machine named Big Fang, showing body at B, boost at D, and grip at A. The characters Dio Rex and Big Fang are also shown in this section. This page delves into course strategies for F0X, focusing on the King Cup. It spotlights 2 tracks, Firefield Jigsaw Jump and Silence 2 Wave Road. Firefield is rated as a challenging 4-star difficulty course. The track is described as having high and low altitude differences, making cornering tricky. The tips highlight using jump spots effectively, particularly at the end of the zigzag section before the goal gate. Screenshots illustrate key points, such as using jumps for speed and being cautious in the magma areas. The Victory Road section advises using the stick forward during jumps for quicker landings. The recommended machine setup and setting features the Iron Tiger, with B-grade body, D-grade boost, and a grade grip. Silence 2, also a 4-star difficulty course, is described as a wave road track where you can enjoy a wave riding sensation. It's noted that the realistic wave motion can be disorienting. The course is overall wide, with many places to overtake. Screenshots point out features like the spiral section and corners with dart zones. The Victory Road section suggests focusing on speed control and side attacks for cornering effectively. The AND setting machine, again Iron Tiger with the same BDA ratings, emphasizes side attacks as a strong point. This F-Zero X course strategy guide covers 2 tracks in the King Cup: Sector Beta, Moonsault, and Red Canyon 2, Slimlines. Sector Beta is a high-speed, guardrail-less course emphasizing risky maneuvers. Strategies include mastering cornering and jumping, while avoiding falls in loop sections. Red Canyon 2 is a technical course with narrow lanes and a challenging pit area. Success depends on skillful side attacks, booster management, and avoiding energy loss from collisions. Road to Victory sections highlight specific hazards: a trap before the pit in Sector Beta, and a tricky booster section in Red Canyon 2. An Andre setting section features Iron Tiger with the following stats: Body B, Boost D, and Grip A. The next page provides course strategy for the King Cup in F-Zero X. It features 3 courses: Whiteland 2, Mute City 3, and Crank Crank. Whiteland 2 is described as a half-pipe course with snow piles and is rated with 5 stars difficulty. It warns about sharp corners and lack of guardrails, advising players to be careful. The text mentions that even a slight mistake can lead to instant retirement. Mute City 3 is rated with 3 stars difficulty and features a crank or 90-degree corner. The course guide mentions that there are 2 places where cranks appear and advises players to use side attacks in the air to adjust their trajectory during jumps, especially in areas without guardrails. Crank Crank is described as a course with continuous 90-degree corners, the final course of the King Cup. Jump plates are placed in several locations, allowing players to jump over corners, giving a hovering feeling. It states that the king is decided on this course. The page also includes winning path advice at the bottom, suggesting that the King Cup is a series of courses where players should aim for first place in each race. It advises players to aim for survival rather than pushing for an unreasonable victory, and to ensure complete races, even if making small mistakes. The recommended machine setting is Iron Tiger, with Body B, Boost D, and Grip A. This page is about the F-Zero X Time Attack Dream Cup competition. The page invites players to participate and boasts about fast pilots and a world-class competition. It highlights different cups: Jack Cup on the Silence course, described as High Speed; Queen Cup on the Red Canyon course, described as Jump Jump; King Cup on the Mute City 3 course, described as Crank Crank; and Death Race Mode, which is described as the Ultimate Time Trial. There are prize categories for the Time Attack division, with prizes including trophies, medals, and keepsakes for top finishers, and a special prize in a separate category, offering a trophy and an N64 game software for the winner. The page details how to apply by postcard, listing required information like the course name, time, fastest speed, character used, address, name, age, and phone number. It also provides the address for sending applications and the deadline, which is the end of August, with results to be announced in the September issue. It mentions that phone inquiries about times are not accepted, and that they may call top-ranking participants for confirmation. This page is focused on the Nintendo 64 game Extreme G. It's presented as a post-playthrough strategy guide for the championship course map. The page highlights the impressive graphics and course design of Extreme G, describing it as a futuristic and intense racing experience with rival battles. The page details a 64Dream super shooting race tournament for Extreme G, stating that it is a target shooting contest in the single-player shooting mode within the City Industrial Zone course. Prizes are mentioned for the top 10 finishers in the tournament, offered by Acclaim Japan. Prizes for the tournament include a portable CD player and Extreme G special sunglasses and soundtrack CD for first place, your choice of N64 software and Extreme G sunglasses and soundtrack CD for second place, an Acclaim mug cup and Extreme G sunglasses and soundtrack CD for third place, and Extreme G special sunglasses and soundtrack CD for 4th to 10th place. The deadline for tournament applications is the end of June, and entries should be sent to the 64Dream editorial department at a Tokyo address. Instructions for applying include noting the score, machine used, address, name, age, and phone number on a postcard. This page showcases 2 desert-themed race courses for an N64 game, named Bones and Pipes and Spaceship Graveyard. The Bones and Pipes course is described as having dinosaur-like bones scattered around and pipe-shaped tunnels. Point B on the map is noted for having a shorter left path, while point C is described as a location where you can fall, so jumping is needed. Point A is marked as the start. The Spaceship Graveyard course is described as a place where derelict spaceships are scattered. It is noted as a course with a generally easier difficulty level. Point C is highlighted as a location with jump ramps for shortcuts, and point A is the starting point after a jump ramp. Point B is mentioned as having branching paths, and it's advised to observe the enemy's actions at this point. This page showcases 2 tracks from the futuristic racing game Extreme G. The first track, Urban Motorway, is described as a course that runs through city roads, evoking a sense of a future metropolis. Point A highlights obstacles on the left and right that require hanging on to navigate. Point B is a 3-dimensional intersection that may seem difficult at first glance, but isn't actually too challenging. The second track, Car Park Hazard, is said to resemble Urban Motorway, but with a different course layout, implied to be a parking lot based on the name. The course is described as wide and not particularly difficult, but encourages aggressive opponent attacks due to the close racing. Point A is a branching point, where the upper course has a boost zone. Point B is mentioned to have items available in a slightly hidden underground location. Point C features a jump ramp that leads to a wide straight course, considered better than the lower path. This page showcases 2 racetracks, the Canyon and the Volcano, from what is likely the game F-Zero-X, based on the futuristic racing style and track themes. The Canyon track is described as a course with dark tunnels and challenging sections, cautioning players about pillars obstructing the view and tunnel exits at points A and B. Point C features jump ramps. The Volcano course, nicknamed Volcano Kernel, is said to be a high-difficulty volcanic track with lava falls and guardrails. It is suggested to aim for a 3rd or 4th place finish due to its difficulty. Point B has guardrails, and point C features a warp zone that loops back to the starting point. Point A is noted for its beautiful graphics but high difficulty. This page showcases 2 courses from the game F-Zero-X. The first section, titled Space Habitat Domes, describes a course set within a space colony. The course layout is explained, highlighting loop sections at point B and branching paths at points A and B. At point C, players are advised to take the left course, warning about a tricky tunnel afterward. Screenshots accompany the description showing in-game racing action. The second section is titled Space Alien Doves and depicts a course set in a peaceful green forest. The text praises the graphics and unique course layout. It mentions that after the start, players will encounter a vertical drop to point A, followed by a jump ramp after a 90-degree curve at point B, leading to a boost zone. Screenshots again illustrate the gameplay on this track. This page is a preview for the N64 game Super Robot Spirits, a 3D fighting title released only in Japan. The game features a cast of super robots engaging in heated battles, set to be released on July 17th. The preview emphasizes the intense combat that takes place on both ground and airfields. It highlights the game's story mode, promising emotional depth and robot friendships that might even bring players to tears. This issue reveals the special moves for the first 5 robots, with more to come in the next issue. The magazine is offering in-depth battle tactics and character-specific strategies to help players become the ultimate super robot pilot. Furthermore, a robot performance analyst named Dr. Fukami from the 64Dream editorial team will be providing expert analysis on each robot's abilities to help players master their fighting styles and understand their unique strengths. The next page is a game guide focusing on the robot R1, likely from a fighting game, highlighting it as a well-balanced and powerful machine. It features a detailed command list for R1, categorized into command techniques, ground spirit techniques, ground-to-air, aerial, cancel special moves, super special moves, and cancel super special moves. There's a section dedicated to aerial combos for R1, offering strategies for utilizing them effectively. Dr. Fukami's research report provides gameplay tips, describing R1 as a standard-type unit with excellent reach and speed, emphasizing its combo potential and user-friendliness for beginners, recommending the mastery of spirit techniques and homing attacks. The story section sets the scene during the L5 battle, where Earth Federation's Super Robot SRX team, including R2 and R3, faces attacks from Judica, leading to significant damage and casualties. The R1, piloted by Rai and Ryusei Date, is the only remaining unit, modified and enhanced for a rematch against Judica. This page focuses on the Shining Gundam, highlighting its close combat power. It features a command list for the Shining Gundam, detailing various attack techniques for ground combat, air combat, and special moves. There's a section called Dr. Fukami's Research Report, providing insights into the Shining Gundam's combat abilities, emphasizing its close-range fighting style and combo potential. The page also delves into floating techniques and air combos, offering tips and examples for advanced gameplay, such as using specific moves like needle straight pressure and hover rising arrow in combos. The story section briefly outlines the background story involving Neo Japan Colony, Master Asia, and the Devil Gundam, setting the stage for the game's narrative. The next page is a game guide focused on aerial combat techniques for a Dunbine fighting game. It features command lists categorized into command moves, aerial spirit moves, and super spirit moves. There are detailed move descriptions and button combinations. Dr. Fukami's Research Report section provides gameplay tips, emphasizing the strength of aerial combos and sword attacks in Dunbine, suggesting players should focus on aerial combat and exploiting openings in ground battles. The page also highlights combo techniques and strategies for using rising sword and field descent drop P moves, along with in-game screenshots demonstrating the action. This page is dedicated to the game mechanics of Dunkuga, the raging super beast machine. It's a fighting game guide detailing various command techniques, including basic moves like Dunku Hook and Dunku Cracker, aerial and ground spirit techniques, and super special moves. Dr. Fukami's Research Report provides insights into the game's combat system, noting that Dunku formation is a powerful move but predictable, while aerial combos can be risky. The page also details specific aerial combos and provides a story overview, mentioning that Dunkuga had to retreat and undergo repairs before the final battle with Judeka. This page is about the game Daytarn 3, showcasing its command list and gameplay tips. It features a table of command techniques, including moves like Daytarn 1-2, Spin Upper, Daytarn Missile, and many more, outlining the button inputs required for each attack. Dr. Fukami's Research Report explains the spirit gauge system in Daytarn 3, advising players on how to effectively use spirit techniques in combat. The page also details air combo techniques, specifically a 3-stage air combo. The story section touches upon the narrative, mentioning battles against Meganoids and the protagonist, Shinzadia. Screenshots illustrate the game in action, showing combat scenarios and user interface elements. The page is providing a guide to playing Daytarn 3 effectively, highlighting special moves and combat strategies. This page is an advertisement for Taizen, an online gaming service where you can play Go, Shogi, and Mahjong. There's a campaign offering a 3-month free trial and a tournament being advertised where players can challenge professionals. The Taizen service also has a special forum on Buster's BBS forum for users to communicate. A campaign is running to win prizes, including a Libretto 70 CT laptop and a Taizen original mousepad. This page reports on the Nintendo of America, NOA, press conference, highlighting Nintendo's strategy of prime time, emphasizing quality games. Interviews with Howard Lincoln and Peter Mackin discuss the success of the video game business and Nintendo's aim to be market leader. They introduce Rare's new game, Perfect Dark, stating it surpasses GoldenEye 007. Screenshots of Perfect Dark and GoldenEye 007 are shown. Games like Kobe Bryant NBA Courtside, Banjo-Kazooie, Turok, Dinosaur Hunter, Turok 2, Seeds of Evil, Wave Race 64 and 1080 Degrees Snowboarding are mentioned as part of the N64's strong lineup. The article also discusses Nintendo's partnerships with third-party developers like Acclaim, Activision, and Capcom, and efforts to reduce cartridge costs and improve N64 technology. The competition with Sony and their Final Fantasy VII is also briefly mentioned. The overall focus is on the strong N64 software coming in the latter half of 1998, positioning Nintendo for continued success. This article previews The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, a highly anticipated N64 title. The article includes a Q&A with Nintendo representatives discussing the game's development and release. Key points include the game's original development for the standard N64 cartridge, not the 64DD, the high cartridge price of $69.95, and a planned release around September, later confirmed by Miyamoto to be November 23 in the U.S. The discussion also touches on the impact of Pokémon and potential changes for the U.S. release, as well as market share recovery strategies in Japan, where Ocarina of Time is expected to be a major success. Miyamoto describes the game as a prime-time experience, destined for historical significance, and promises an immersive adventure for players. Screenshots depict Link in a 3D world. The next page is a manga strip titled Dream Drunker, featuring Bowser and Toad. It's a humorous take on kart racing, clearly referencing Mario Kart 64 with characters and themes familiar to the game. Bowser boasts about his custom kart, which he calls the never-ending dash type, equipped with continuously cultivated power mushrooms for constant boosting. The comic depicts a race scenario with over-the-top kart modifications and comedic dialogue about Bowser's confidence and racing prowess. It's a light-hearted and funny comic strip based on the world of kart racing games. The 64Dream Club section features letters from readers discussing various topics. One writer envisions a Real Mario game with commentary akin to GameCube Powerful Pro Yaku 5, suggesting anime voice actors for humorous commentary, including over-the-top reactions to Mario's falls. Another letter, Expectations for 64DD, expresses concerns about the game industry, particularly the used software market. The writer advocates for focusing on creating fun, high-selling games, even suggesting affordable CD-ROM expansions for the 64DD, and highlighting games like Super Mario 64 and Final Fantasy. They also express disappointment that RPGs are lacking on the N64 and hope for ports of popular titles like D-Raku and FF. A third letter from a light user praises the provisional Mario 642, enjoys games on both N64 and PlayStation, and hopes for more RPGs on the N64, mentioning their purchase of games like Super Mario Kart, D-Raku, and FF, based on friend recommendations and advertising. This page from the magazine delves into discussions around the 64GB pack and its potential, emphasizing its strategy for data transfer and use between the N64 and Game Boy. It also explores the purpose and value of 64Dream magazine for N64 players, highlighting its role in connecting the community and providing relevant information. Reader feedback includes excitement for the release of FZEROX and Pokemon Stadium. Comments also mention The Legend of Zelda, with one person humorously recounting a rumor about its release. Other reader feedback includes mentions of Power Pro 5, Pocket Pikachu, and GoldenEye 007. The page concludes with a call for submissions to the N64 forum, encouraging readers to share their opinions and expectations regarding the N64. This page features impressions of 3 different N64 games from readers. The first section is about Bomberman Hero, with a player noting they enjoyed it as much as Bomberman 64. They praised the game's music and found it very engaging, even completing it in just 3 days, including finding all treasures and beating the gold bomber. However, they felt it was a bit too easy and suggested that perhaps jumping was unnecessary, but ultimately considered it the best placing bombs and escaping style Bomberman game. The next section discusses GameCube Powerful Pro Yaku 5, described as a game where you can become yourself. The player enjoyed the success mode, where you raise a high school baseball player aiming for Koshien and eventually turning pro. They highlight the various enjoyable events and the feeling of growth and connecting with in-game teammates and mentors, comparing it to real life and suggesting it's a game about improving yourself. Finally, there's a short piece celebrating the 2nd anniversary of analog culture, focusing on Super Mario 64. The writer mentions that after 2 years, the game still feels fresh due to the immersive 3D space and the intuitive analog controls, which make moving Mario around incredibly enjoyable. They specifically mention the exhilarating feeling of throwing Bowser as a highlight of the game. This page from the Rokuyan Dream Club section discusses the feeling of analog control in N64 games, mentioning titles like Wave Race 64, Pilot Wings 64, and 1080 Degrees Snowboarding, also praising the analog feel of the music in these games, and remembers Super Mario 64 as a legendary title. The page continues to review GASP Fighters NEXtreme, highlighting its deep gameplay and score attack elements, contrasting it with modern games that focus more on CG movies and bonus content, emphasizing GASP dedication to core gameplay. A bug in Area 6 of Star Fox 64 is mentioned, causing score display issues in the ranking screen when exceeding 512 points. There are 2 game reviews on this page. The first is for GASP Fighters NEXtreme, a 3D fighting game by Konami. The reviewer Maru's Tsuyoshi from Osaka Prefecture praises its strategic depth, the use of C buttons and D-pad combinations for controls, and the realistic and interactive stage environments. The second review is for Star Fox 64, reviewed by Yamamoto from Okayama Prefecture, who calls it a masterpiece example. The review celebrates its enjoyable 3D shooting, intuitive controls, the Arwing's smooth movement, and the satisfying shooting experience, concluding it is an absolute gem. Finally, there's a Dream Impression Manuscript Big Recruitment section, inviting readers to submit their game impressions of N64 software, both new and old, for a chance to win a 2,000 yen gift certificate. It details submission guidelines including word count and contact information. This page is a guide to currently released N64 software with a popularity ranking. Mario Kart 64 is at the top, followed by Star Fox 64 and Super Mario 64 in the top 3 positions. GoldenEye 007 and Yoshi's Story round out the top 5. The popularity ranking report notes that the top 7 games have remained unchanged from the previous month, indicating a stable market. GoldenEye 007 has slipped slightly, while Mario 64 is still popular, celebrating its 2nd anniversary. Power Pro Baseball 5 has jumped up the rankings, and 1080 Degrees Snowboarding is also gaining popularity. Bomberman Hero is a new entry into the charts. There is also anticipation for FIFA due to its upcoming release. In Akihabara, you could find gold or clear purple N64 controllers for around 12,800 yen. This page is an E398 special feature from America, highlighting the latest news for the N64. It mentions that there is a 21-page feature inside the magazine covering E3, and emphasizes the energy and excitement around the N64 at the show. Around 80 N64 software titles were playable at the event, and a comment from Nintendo of America's Howard Lincoln is also featured. The text also describes E3 as the world's largest game event, held in Los Angeles. The image features Link from the Legend of Zelda series in front of an American flag. This page focuses on Nintendo of America's, NOA, presence at E3, titled Nintendo of America's Recommendation. It highlights that Nintendo's booth at E3 is always popular. The page features an interview with NOA's president, Minoru Arakawa, discussing Nintendo's booth concept. Arakawa mentions last year's slogan was, "The Power of Nintendo," and this year it has changed to Primetime. He explains that Primetime is meant to evoke the image of popular evening television programming with high viewership, aiming to create a fun and engaging atmosphere at the booth. The booth's concept is described as a sports game zone. Featured games with their Japanese release dates are listed. Banjo-Kazooie, June 29, 1998. Stagers. F-Zero X, October 26, 1998. The Legend of Zelda. Ocarina of Time, November 23, 1998. Conker's Quest, October 26, 1998. This likely refers to the early Japanese name for what would become Conker's Bad Fur Day in the West, though this game was significantly different at this stage and was later reworked. This day. The Primetime area is described as being themed around sports games, aiming to appeal to a slightly older demographic in America who enjoy sports games. The N-Cube logo with the word sports is highlighted as a central theme, suggesting a focus on various sports genres within the booth. The article notes that Nintendo is aiming to create a booth that resembles a high-quality variety TV program. At a major event, likely E3, Nintendo showcased its Nintendo 64 lineup, with The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time being the star. The game, praised for its stunning visuals and sound, drew large crowds. Zelda creator Shigeru Miyamoto was also present. A Link figure was also available in Japan. Other featured games included the nearly complete Banjo-Kazooie, Conker's Bad Fur Day, and the highly anticipated F-Zero X. The 64DD wasn't shown, but Nintendo showcased footage of planned 64DD titles like Mother 3 and Paper Mario, Mario RPG 2, confirming the latter wouldn't be a cartridge release. Nintendo also presented its sports game offerings, including Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey 98, and Kobe Bryant in NBA Courtside. The article noted that Kobe Bryant's name originated from his parents dining at a Kobe beef restaurant. Nintendo launched Pokémon in America, aiming for total U.S. domination with the red and blue versions, opting for blue branding despite content similarities to the Japanese green version. Marketing involved a multi-pronged approach, including features in Nintendo Power, an anime debut, and a vast array of merchandise from 150 companies, creating a synergy to amplify the game's impact. The name Pokémon was chosen over Pocket Monsters to avoid a potentially negative French pronunciation. At E3, a major public relations push involved distributing Pokémon stickers and Pikachu keychains, with a Monster Ball launching big operation featuring a giant Monster Ball that revealed a moving Pikachu, generating significant buzz. At E3 1998, Nintendo unveiled the Game Boy Color, impressing attendees with its improved screen and showcasing 6 new software titles, including color versions of Zelda and Pokémon. The Game Boy Color had already launched in America on November 23, with a Japan release planned for September, priced around 8,900 yen. Production was scheduled to begin in September, targeting 3 million units by year-end. The Game Boy camera was also a highlight, receiving positive feedback, with the US version being the Game Boy camera. Hirokazu Tanaka, known as the father of Pokémon, commented on the camera's appeal. Screenshots of games running on the Game Boy Color were included, as well as details on the Pocket printer and the popularity of the Pocket camera in America. The event also featured Nintendo staff wearing themed accessories. Mr. Arakawa, the president, discussed the software lineup, including Conker's Pocket Tales and Wario Land 2, as well as the upcoming release of Game Boy Light. This page announces Rare's 2 new games, Perfect Dark and Jet Force Gemini, presented at the show, although playable versions were not available, only video demonstrations. Company President Kawara mentions that the Perfect Dark team is the same team behind the 007 game. The page also covers the Nintendo booth at E3, describing it as a Café Mario for Nintendo staff meetings, inaccessible to the general public. There is an interview with Kawazora Company President discussing Nintendo's relationship with Rare. He explains that while they are competitors, they also cooperate and exchange information on game development. He clarifies Nintendo's investment in Rare, emphasizing mutual respect for staff and Rare's development autonomy. The page lists playable games at the Nintendo booth, including Star Wars, Rogue Squadron, Mission Impossible, EF, Flying Hunters, Roadrunner 64, Wild Choppers, Weetrix, Mortal Kombat 4, and Bomberman Hero. Finally, there's a short piece about encountering Mr. Miyamoto at E3 on the last day, where he was seen signing autographs and giving his ID card to someone, and a group photo noting a British genius from Cambridge working at Rare, suggesting their games are becoming highly realistic. This page is about Nintendo's presence at an event in Atlanta, likely E3 related, in 1998. It highlights a party hosted by Nintendo of America, which was held at a movie studio, a change from previous years. The party had a casual atmosphere, with attendees enjoying various games and activities such as basketball. Prizes like Nintendo sports caps and cigar cutters were given away. There's also a mention of rival companies trying to promote themselves at the event. The page also features an article discussing the importance of The Legend of Zelda for the N64. It suggests that Zelda is the key to changing the N64's current market situation, and features an interview with Mr. Arakawa, who hints at the different market reception of the N64 in Japan and America. He expresses optimism that a strong title like Zelda is needed to boost the platform, and reassures readers that the game will meet their expectations. The article also mentions Tetris PS by Puzzle Planet Software, and quotes Hank Rogers. The article ends with anticipation for the autumn 1998 release of Zelda. This page is an exclusive interview with Shigeru Miyamoto at E3 in Atlanta, discussing The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. The article emphasizes the game's smooth development, supported by a team of volunteers. Miyamoto explains that the presentation showed unreleased footage to magazine journalists. Here, he talks about the game system, focusing on puzzle solving and dungeon exploration, mentioning the Deku Tree Dungeon as an example. He also describes gameplay mechanics such as defeating Deku Babas and using items like the slingshot. A minigame set in a castle courtyard is also showcased. The game is stated to be around 70% complete and aiming for a summer release. Miyamoto expresses his desire for players to focus on the feeling and experience of the game, rather than just technical aspects like polygon counts. At E3 98, Shigeru Miyamoto discussed the then upcoming Zelda game. As producer, his involvement was extensive, particularly in the core systems, story, and game ideas. Development spanned over 3 years, with the team working to enhance the Zelda-like feel. Miyamoto anticipated the game would boost N64 sales, and would be at least as large as the SNES Zelda. The game will offer a high degree of freedom, and they were largely satisfied with the features implemented. A color remake of Link's Awakening was also mentioned. Miyamoto estimated players would need to solve about 70% of the game's secrets to reach the ending. He discussed the auto-jump feature, designed for player friendliness in the 3D world and minimizing Navi's dialogue. A Yura Zelda system was planned for the 64DD. He estimated gameplay to be around 40 hours. The page also included screenshots showcasing gameplay elements and scenes. This page is from an exclusive interview with Shigeru Miyamoto at E3 in Atlanta, Part 2. Miyamoto mentions that they are aiming for the new Zelda game, presumably The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, to sell 1 million copies and become the greatest Zelda game ever made, surpassing even previous titles on the N64. He describes the E3 event as energetic and positive, noting the American audience's enthusiastic reactions. He mentions that he is careful about showing Zelda to children to keep it confidential. He also praises Rare's game Banjo-Kazooie, saying it might be even better than Super Mario 64, highlighting Rare's skill in using the N64. Miyamoto talks about F-Zero X, emphasizing its innovative aspects and the ambition to create a new type of racing game. He notes that after F-Zero X, the next big title will be Pokemon Stadium. He also touches upon the random course generation feature in F-Zero X that can be enhanced with the 64DD, allowing players to customize and save their favorite courses. Shigeru Miyamoto discusses the development of Nintendo 64 games, emphasizing broad appeal and high quality. Zelda 64 inches, Ocarina of Time, aims for a true Zelda experience, leveraging a modified engine. Other projects include Hey You Pikachu, Pokemon Stadium, F-Zero X, and 64DD expansions. Miyamoto highlights Nintendo's shift toward innovation and ambitious sales goals. He addresses Navi's voice in Zelda, confirming a focus on the series' core elements. Team collaboration is key, with Miyamoto making final decisions. He mentions a good relationship with Rare, separate but potentially collaborative, and confirms Zelda 64's priority with future split development. Miyamoto ends by humorously describing interactive elements in games and anticipates Zelda's future success. At E3, Giant Citizen Kabuto creator Kazutoshi Ida observed a trend of games emulating Diablo, Tomb Raider, and Mario 64, along with racing games. He found Weetrix a refreshing contrast to the high-budget titles. He was impressed by Zelda: Ocarina of Time, praising its innovative one-button control system. While no games particularly sparked his creative interest, E3 validated that his current niche game project, Giant Citizen Kabuto, was diverging from the mainstream. Ida compared the N64 state in Japan to a slump in manga, suggesting Zelda could be its blackjack, a moment of revival. He believes Zelda has already achieved this. In an interview titled Meeting with Marigal and the Giant, Kazutoshi Ida discusses his game, Kyojin no Doshin, Doshin the Giant. Inspired by a childhood drawing and the N64 controller, Ida aimed to create a game centered on a giant character, driven by a desire to explore the concept of scale. The game is set on a southern island, where primitive people construct pyramids. Ida views the island as a stage for the giant, whose actions and personality are influenced by the player. The game's central theme follows the giant's life cycle on the island. Ida also links Doshin the Giant to his Ida Saga series, noting the giant's evolving design from human-like to monstrous, reflecting his dual nature. The interview touches on his previous works, including Aqualung, Deep Sea Mysteries, and Tale of the Sun, with photos included to illustrate the interview. This page highlights N64 games from Acclaim and Ubisoft at E3. Acclaim expresses confidence in their N64 lineup, noting the popularity of sports games in America. They are particularly focusing on sports titles like NFL Quarterback Club 99 and WWF Warzone, which are considered very impressive visually. Mention is made of the exciting wrestler movements and the gold-wired ring in WWF Warzone. They also mention Backstage Assault 2, Extreme G2, and Turok 2. Ubisoft is also featured, described as a powerful overseas company, and known for Rayman in Japan. Rayman 2 is highlighted as playable at the show, although it's mentioned it's still in development. Other titles from Ubisoft include Buck Bumble and All-Star Racing. A table lists N64 software revealed at E3, including games from both companies with categories and percentages. The games listed are NFL Quarterback Club 99, WWF Warzone, All-Star Quarterback, NHL Breakaway 99, Forsaken, Backstage Assault 2, Extreme G2, Shadowman, South Park, and Turok 2. Percentages. The percentages likely indicate completion or progress, shown at E3. This page previews several N64 games shown at E3. A table lists games like Buck Bumble and Rayman 2 with percentage figures, suggesting development progress. 3 upcoming Japanese releases are highlighted. Igikun Nobura 2 Bon, a comedic action game, EFU Flying Hunters, a 3D shooting game, and Turok 2 Provisional, a sequel with dinosaur battles. Another table, under the Konami logo, features games like Deadly Arts, Gasp, Hybrid Heaven, and Castlevania 64. Finally, the page reports on a wireless infrared controller seen at E3, boasting a 90-foot range and a U.S. retail price of around $80, noting its suitability for large homes and its display alongside vibration packs. Quote, this page reports on the N64 games showcased at the E3 Atlanta 98 event. The first section highlights Infogrames/Ocean's booth, featuring games like GT64, Championship Edition, Mission, Impossible, Weetrix, which received a 100% score, Looney Tunes, Space Circus, V-Rally 99, which got a 90% score, Tasmanian Express, Gex 64, Enter the Gecko, and Duck Dodgers, starring Daffy Duck. The Electronic Arts section lists sports titles including NHL 99, World Cup 98, Madden, NFL 99, and NASCAR 99. Finally, Eidos is mentioned with their game, Fighting Force 64. The page also includes small screenshots from some of the mentioned games, and booth photos, giving an overview of the N64 presence at the event. This page is about Infogrames and other companies' N64 software shown at E3. Infogrames are highlighting V-Rally, a rally racing game with real rally cars and environments, and Jester, Deathstone in Japan, an action-adventure game with a unique artistic style and varied gameplay. Tasmanian Express from Ocean Software is featured, a game based on the animated series, where you race as Taz. Duck Dodgers 3rd/2 Dementia is also mentioned, a puzzle game featuring the Duck Dodgers character. Mindscape's Rat Attack is showcased, where you control a cat and clear stages of rats in a puzzle action game with 100 levels. Titus is presenting Superman, Roadsters 98, and Virtual Chess 64. Superman's gameplay is described as unique, with Superman moving around the screen. Roadsters 98 is a racing game featuring Lamborghini and BMW cars, scheduled for release in Japan in June. Virtual Chess 64's strength level is unknown, but it is suggested it could be champion level. ASC2 is showing Airborder 64, a snowboarding game. It was shown at the ASC2 booth at E3 and is different to Aerogauge. Finally, Hasbro Interactive is presenting Glover, an action puzzle game where you control a glove, popular due to its 3D action map. This page highlights third-party N64 games from Midway as seen at E3. Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat 4 is featured at the top left. Mortal Kombat 4 is mentioned as a fighting game, with concerns about its Japanese release due to its violent content, even though Super Famicom versions were released there. NFL Blitz is described as a popular American football game, easy to play. Chopper Attack, also known as Wild Choppers, is mentioned with control improvements. Body Harvest, although slated for release, is described as having extreme concepts. Midway's section introduces Gex 64, Rush 2, Micro Machines V3, and Off-Road Challenge. Gex 64 is described as an action game. Rush 2 is the sequel to San Francisco Rush, featuring car jumps. Off-Road Challenge is said to be enjoyable even with small cars, and is desired for release in Japan, hoping for a perfect N64 port from the arcade version. Screenshots show gameplay from Mortal Kombat 4, NFL Blitz, Rush 2, and Off-Road Challenge. The bottom left introduces a glove controller for the N64, allowing one-handed play, described as feeling like wearing iron claws, and potentially good for playing in bed, but may take time to get used to the controls. The bottom right table lists N64 software revealed at E3 with percentages, including Mortal Kombat 4, BioFreaks, NFL Blitz, Chopper Attack, Wild Choppers, Body Harvest, Gex 64, Rush 2 Extreme Racing USA, Micro Machines V3, and Off-Road Challenge, categorized by game type and completion percentage. This page covers various game companies showcasing their N64 titles at E3. Starting with VIDEOSYSTEM, they highlighted 3 games. Aero Fighters Assault, which is referred to as Sonic Wings Assault internationally, Harrier 2000, and F1 World Grand Prix. The completion status of Harrier 2000 and F1 World Grand Prix is noted as 99%. Moving on to Capcom, the article expresses surprise that Capcom didn't have much on display for the N64 at E3, despite expectations. They mention that Capcom is developing a Tetris-like puzzle game and previously showcased Disney character games last year. THQ's section features Quest 64, listed at 100% completion, WCW vs. NWO Revenge at 80%, and Penny Racers at 100%. The article mentions that THQ is known for game software sales, and emphasizes that these titles are tailored for the Japanese market. Penny Racers is referred to as Choro Q64 in Japan. Brave Entertainment displayed Flying Dragon, already released. Miro Astro Lanes at 30% completion, Caesar's Palace at 40%, and VR Pool at 50%. They described Flying Dragon as a fighting game, and Miro Astro Lanes as a bowling and golf game, blending minigames. Caesar's Palace is described as a casino game. Finally, there is a mention of Sailor Moon-related content at the E3 event. E3 showcased several upcoming N64 games. Activision previewed the action game Quake 2, noting its PC origins and potential N64 adaptation. Interplay featured Earthworm Jim 3D, an action title. Kemco highlighted a strong lineup for Japan, including Twisted Edge Snowboarding, King Hill 64, Shadowgate 64, Top Gear Overdrive, Knife Edge, and Charlie Blast's Territory. Top Gear Overdrive was described as comical, while Charlie Blast's Territory is a 3D puzzle game. Take-Two Interactive showed Space Station Silicon Valley, a unique action game, with a small booth. Psygnosis presented the high-quality racing game Wipeout 64, featuring 4-player battles, and the action game ODT, which might not be released in Japan. Psygnosis is also developing the 98 Barrier F1 game. This page presents information about N64 software and prizes from E3. At the top left are 3 N64 games that were not fully introduced on the previous page. Mike Piazza's Strike Zone, a baseball game featuring the famous player. Robotech, a game based on the anime series developed by GameTech. And College Hoops, a popular basketball game in America. Next we see a section about an N64 controller extension cord found at the E3 show, highlighting its length at 3 meters, which is considered quite long. The right side features post-E3 interview notes by WHARU. He reflects on the scale of E3 and mentions that he was impressed by the Nintendo 64's strong showing and the high level of developer skill, especially by Miyamoto-san. He mentions being impressed by experiencing Zelda firsthand. Finally, the bottom section advertises a large giveaway of American goods. Prizes include signed items from NOA President Arakawa, Miyamoto Shigeru, and Tanaka Hirokazu of Pokémon fame. Other prizes are E3 Nintendo logo hats, a Baby Mario romper suit, a Mario Kart jigsaw puzzle, a game software case, a Nintendo special calendar, American-made Pokémon stickers, various plush toys, a set of 5 Pokémon dolls, an assortment of E3 booth goods, and a toy assortment from Nagami-san. There are different numbers of prizes available for each item. The application deadline is July 20th, 1998. This page is the N64 Question Box, Volume 23, featuring a Q&A section with Nintendo's Honma Yoshitomo from the Public Relations Department. The first question asks, what N64 software Mr. Honma paid attention to at E3? The answer is Zelda, likely referring to The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. He explains that it was the most promoted software at E3, especially in America, where playable ROMs were shown for the first time. The feedback was positive, and discussions about Pokémon were also popular. The second question asks if the software exhibited at E3 will all be released in Japan. The answer is that some may not be. As an example, Ken Griffey Jr. Baseball is mentioned as a game with strong American sports themes that might not be released in Japan, although it's not definitive, and there's still a possibility. The page includes images related to Zelda at E3, a Pikachu mascot, and the box art for Ken Griffey Jr. Baseball. This Q&A section focuses on F-Zero X for the Nintendo 64. The game's appeal is highlighted by its blistering speed, 30 racers at 60 FPS, and a robust single and multiplayer experience, including the Death Race mode, all accompanied by the classic F-Zero music. Its price, 5,800 yen, is positioned as affordable compared to other titles. Regarding a time attack contest, the vast number of tracks makes an official contest difficult, though opportunities may arise through gaming magazines. The release date, a Tuesday, is not unusual for Nintendo, as they often release games on the 14th, 21st, or 23rd of a month. The team is eager to get the game into players' hands. The page also features screenshots and artwork, with an editor from F-Zero Mania praising the game's speed. This page features a Q&A section focusing on 3 Nintendo 64 games. The first question is about the F-Zero X expansion kit for the 64DD. It explains that by using the 64DD, players can create their own courses and customize machines in F-Zero X. It also mentions the ability to add new courses and cars, edit functionalities, and even share creations with friends. The second question is about Pikachu Genki Deishu. Hey you, Pikachu. The question asks if foreigners can understand Pikachu in the game. The answer humorously states that if a foreigner speaks Japanese to Pikachu, he will understand. The game is designed to react to Japanese voice commands, and while Pikachu might not understand English, voice input is key to playing, even if you are quiet otherwise. The final question discusses whether Pokemon models are shared across different Pokemon games like Pokemon Snap and Pokemon Stadium. The response clarifies that the Pokemon are definitely not the same 3D models, and are visually distinct due to different development teams. It specifically compares Pikachu from Pocket Pikachu and Hey You, Pikachu, highlighting the different feel and style in each game as a positive aspect. This Q&A discusses the N64's upcoming game lineup. Following Pokemon Stadium, The Legend of Zelda is expected in the fall, with Banjo-Kazooie and Pikachu Genki Dechu as possibilities, while F-Zero X releases July 14th. Around 5 N64 cartridge releases are anticipated that year. Banjo-Kazooie development is nearing completion for the American version, with Japanese localization starting. Commercials are planned for many games, including Pokemon Stadium, multiple versions of Pocket Camera, Pokemon Snap, commercials potentially starring Naomi Amori, F-Zero X, and Zelda. Finally, the 64DD is confirmed for release, with numerous software titles planned, including unique offerings like a potential Diddy Kong Racing 2, promising a significant release and encouraging anticipation. This page has a Q&A section. The first question asks about the status of the N64 in Asia. The answer explains that while worldwide sales are good, sales in Asia are not strong due to piracy issues and other factors making sales difficult. The next question is about the Game Boy Color. It is confirmed to be releasing in late September at a price of 8,900 yen, with demos showing on the liquid crystal display. The person answering has seen it and says the color screen is very clean and beautiful, and even Wario Land 2, which was initially planned to be monochrome, is being remade in color. The next Q&A section is about character names, asking how they are decided. The answer explains that the developers think of impressive names and decide through discussions, often using foreign mythology as inspiration, citing Epona from Zelda as an example of a name derived from Western mythology, mentioning there are cases where they consult with America for naming. There is a screenshot from Zelda with Epona in it. The final question is about not attending E3 and feeling left out. The response mentions being in Japan instead and getting information online and from Nintendo of America, noting that they announced various things and that they are playing online games like Zoo and Mario Kart on the internet. The N64 question box addresses reader queries. Regarding a 007 sequel, there are no immediate plans, but Rare's Perfect Dark, developed by the GoldenEye 007 team, offers a similar experience. The potential for Perfect Dark in Japan is also discussed. The number of Nintendo Power rewrite software titles is increasing, currently around 120, expected to reach 150. Zoo and Mahjong is provided as an example of this software. Finally, a Pokemon League World Championship may be possible if the game is successful, referencing prior events. A screenshot illustrates a Pokemon battle scene between Weedle and Bulbasaur, with a reference to the Pokeball. The text also addresses the possibility of Japan-US Pokemon battles, acknowledging past compatibility challenges. This page is a news article from the 64Dream newspaper, announcing that Shigeru Miyamoto received the Interactive Achievement Award and was inducted into the Hall of Fame Award at a ceremony held on May 28 during the E3 show. The article mentions that Miyamoto looked impressed and gave a speech expressing his gratitude and acknowledging everyone involved in creating games with him. It also highlights GoldenEye 007 as a representative work of the year, winning awards in the software engineering and action game categories. Other notable award winners listed include Parappa the Rapper for sound and music and interactive design, Livin' Mist Continuation for art/graphics, Final Fantasy V-2 for adventure and role-playing game, WCW vs. NWO World Tour for fighting game, Diddy Kong Racing for racing game, and International Superstar Soccer 64 for sports game. The article includes photos of Miyamoto at the award ceremony and being interviewed. This page is a news report covering a Nintendo of America press conference that took place just before E3. The event, called Prime Time, was held in Atlanta and attended by many members of the press and retail industry. Howard Lincoln, chairman of NOA, Peter Mackin, senior VP of marketing, and Ken Lobb, product manager, all gave presentations. They spoke about Nintendo's strategies and the current state of the video game market. The article mentioned several upcoming N64 games that were showcased at the event, including MLB, featuring Ken Griffey Jr., Banjo-Kazooie, FZEROX, Tougeki Racing, Battle Gear, Battle Tanks, and Conker's Bad Fur Day. They even showed video footage of these games during the presentation. It emphasizes the large number of international media present and the strong interest in Nintendo. Shigeru Miyamoto presented a video related to Zelda specifically for the international press. Howard Lincoln gave a powerful message, stressing the importance of high-quality games, using GoldenEye 007 and Perfect Dark as prime examples. The page also talks about the press kits that were distributed, which contain pamphlets and photos, all packaged in colored vinyl bags, orange, green, and clear. They were so popular that not everyone managed to get one. Images show these press kit bags and games like Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue. Finally, there are brief profiles of Howard Lincoln, Peter Main, Ken Lobb, and Shigeru Miyamoto, highlighting their roles and contributions to Nintendo. This page welcomes us to Nintendo of America, or NOA. It details a visit to their headquarters located near Seattle and Redmond, Washington, highlighting the scale of the office building and emphasizing a distinctly American corporate atmosphere compared to offices in Japan. The article notes, NOA employs around 1,000 people and is positioned in a spacious, green area. Inside NOA, there are displays showcasing Nintendo's history with older products, and even a play area for children. The article mentions displays featuring classic items like the Famicom robot, known internationally as ROB, and the gyro set. We also see areas dedicated to software testing, labeled Product Testing, and a customer service center. Interestingly, the editorial department for Nintendo Power magazine is based at NOA, and the page even shows the expansive office of the editor-in-chief. The overall impression conveyed is one of admiration for the size and influence of Nintendo's American operations. This page is a feature article titled, Thorough Coverage Has Been Done, that delves into Nintendo of America, or NOA. First section is about NOA's customer support system, emphasizing their ability to handle inquiries from all over the world with a staff of 250 people. They handle calls in multiple languages like French and Spanish, and use a system to track call times and who answers. The next parts, labeled, What's This? Part 2 and 3, highlight interesting aspects of the NOA office. Part 2 mentions that office sections and meeting rooms are playfully named after Nintendo games, like Mother Brain Lane, Diddy Kong Drive, and Wario's Woods. Part 3 talks about sample ROM cartridges, specifically mentioning these are loaners for publishing companies for review and are copy-protected US versions, not Japanese. The page then moves to Original merchandise can be obtained here, showcasing NOA's store, Nintendo Fan and Games, where you can buy unique merchandise not found in regular stores. They sell game software, items with Nintendo logos, t-shirts, hats, and towels. It mentions large Mario face bags and the temptation to spend a lot of money there. Finally, the article describes a visit to Mr. Nagami from Game Street Journal's house. It's located about 2,030 minutes by car from NOA in a quiet area. Now, the house is described as a large American-style home with a balcony, and the author even mentions enjoying coffee beans at his place. Nintendo is launching several exciting products and events. The Game Boy Color is releasing in late September with an improved color screen. New Pocket Pikachu belt cases are available for secure carrying. A Pokemon League event is coming to Okinawa, using Pokemon Stadium on the N64. Tied to the release of Pokemon the Movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back. The ANA Pokemon Jet is now flying, featuring Pokemon-themed in-flight entertainment. The Nintendo 64 is getting a price cut starting July 1st. Finally, software development is underway for the 64DD, with several titles in development, including Pikachu Ukiyo-e. The next page features news about Rareware launching their official homepage. It mentions titles like GoldenEye 007 and Diddy Kong Racing, which were already big hits on the N64, as well as upcoming games like Jet Force Gemini and Perfect Dark that were showcased at E3. The article suggests that the website will reveal more about the previously mysterious Rareware and is a must-check for fans. This page also previews GQ World Soccer World Cup France 98 for the N64. It's described as the latest in the series focusing on the France 98 World Cup, featuring 48 national teams and over 2,000 real players. The game emphasizes realistic player likenesses and an immersive atmosphere. Screenshots show in-game action and menus. There's a section about the Endo collection highlighting collectible Game Boys. This month's pick is about clear Game Boys, particularly the clear and ice blue versions, noting that while the clear Game Boy was common in America and at Toys R Us, the ice blue version was a Toys R Us Japan exclusive and harder to find, making it a collector's item. A short Star Fox comic strip is also included, with typical lighthearted banter between the characters. Finally, there's a call for readers to submit photos of their prized game collections to be featured in the magazine. The address for submissions is provided, encouraging readers to share their Endo collection and challenging others to outdo them. This page showcases Zoo to Mahjong, a Nintendo Power exclusive Mahjong game for the N64 featuring animal characters. The game allows players to develop their characters, engage in exchanges, battles, and even spectate matches. The page highlights the core Mahjong system, mentioning it's a 4-player game, and each animal character has unique traits, like preferring Riichi or aiming for quick wins. The game features a quest mode, where you travel through animal villages, defeat the Mahjong King, and recruit defeated animals as companions. The page includes a section on a special password from Hanjo-san, who apparently played the game and achieved 10 half-chans, offering a password for players to use. The password is presented in a pink box, and there's also a comment about winning against Hanjo-san. Screenshots show the character selection screen, in-game Mahjong action, the quest mode map, and character development graphs illustrating strengths. The game seems to incorporate elements of character development and a quest storyline into the traditional Mahjong gameplay. This page is about the Super Famicom game, Ring ni Kakero. It's advertised as featuring explosive super blows and being a hot return for the series 20 years after the original manga became popular in Shonen Jump. The game has multiple modes including player versus player, CPU battles, and story mode. The page explains the gameplay, highlighting the use of jabs and building up energy to unleash special moves. It then introduces 5 elite Japanese fighters: Ryuji Takane, whose special move is the boomerang hook; Jun Kanzaki with the Galactica Magnum; Ishimatsu Katori, who uses the Hurricane Bolt; Ichijo Shinatora, and his special Rolling Thunder; and Takeshi Kawai, with the Jet Upper. Each character's special move and fighting style are briefly described. Screenshots showcase in-game battles and character portraits. This page seems to be a walkthrough for the adventure game Heisei Shin Onigashima Zenpen, which was released on Super Famicom, and is part of the Famicom Mukashi Banashi series. The walkthrough is titled Scroll of Apple, and covers 3 chapters of the game. Chapter 1, Hole Opened in the Floor, describes the beginning of the game where the protagonist, possibly named Ringo, is looking for ashes after an apple given by Grandpa disappears. By finding a Kiseru pipe and giving it to Grandpa, a hole opens in the floor. Chapter 2, Buried Koban Gold Coin, takes place on a hot summer day at a shrine, where the player overhears a conversation about a buried Koban gold coin. The walkthrough suggests digging within the shrine to find the Koban and use it to exchange for something important. Chapter 3, Lure Out the Oni of the Shrine, depicts a village under attack by Oni demons, setting fire to houses. The player needs to find people and use kibidango millet dumplings, bought from a boy, to lure out the Oni in front of the shrine to make them go away. The page uses screenshots to illustrate key moments and provides gameplay advice to progress through these sections of the game. This page dives into a walkthrough for the Super Famicom game, Pocky and Rocky 2. Kiki Kai Kai, Nazo no Kuromanto. It's the second part of a multi-part guide, focusing on Matsunosuke's scroll. The guide starts with the monkey stone statue section, advising players to interact with 3 monkey statues in the correct order to open a path. Next, Koza and Hide and Seek tasks players with finding hidden baby monkeys to receive a reward. The Hinoi Ando section talks about using a song and dance to progress through a cave. Moving on, Skeleton's Request mentions skeletons needing help to proceed. Dated. Wake Up Nataro describes waking up a character named Nataro by causing a tree branch and a large drum to fall. Gravestone Carrying involves moving tombstones to solve a puzzle. Finally, Run Away from Yamanba. Part 1 and 2 detail escaping from a mountain witch, providing specific directional instructions to avoid obstacles and reach safety. And Rescue Ume-chan focuses on saving Ume-chan from a cauldron using a water ladle. The guide emphasizes puzzle solving and provides hints for progression. This page introduces 2 Game Boy titles, both seemingly connected to the N64. The first game is Momotaro Dentetsu Jr. National Ramen Pilgrimage Volume, an RPG where the aim is to visit ramen restaurants across Japan. This game features a new special game mode where destinations are predetermined in order, offering 2 types of journeys. Ramen Pilgrimage, focused on ramen restaurants, and Journey of the Real Thing, centered around famous agricultural products. Both journeys start in Tokyo. The second game highlighted is Hyper Yo-Yo, based on the yo-yo craze, where players learn yo-yo techniques and aim to become the JCC champion. The page shows screenshots of the yo-yo gameplay and features a section with advice from Nakamura Meijin for players. This page showcases 4 Game Boy games. First up is Sho Machine Ayuden Wataru, Majeko Monster 2, a simulation game where you raise monsters by mixing food items. Scheduled for release on August 7th for 3,980 yen. The screenshots show monster stats and the food mixing process. Next is Itsu Demo Nyan to Wonderful, another simulation game, this time focused on raising dogs and cats. It boasts real-time clock features and lets you train and compete with your pets. It was set to release on June 26th, also for 3,980 yen. Moving on. Grander Musashi RV is a fishing game based on the popular anime, using a real-type handle for immersive gameplay. You can become a tournament leader in this game, releasing in late July for 5,800 yen. Finally, Shanghai Pocket is a puzzle game, a portable version of Shanghai, featuring communication battles and multiple game modes. It was slated for release on August 6th for 3,980 yen. This page highlights 4 games, each with a brief preview and screenshots. First is Fishing Master, a fishing RPG for Game Boy, where you aim to become the best fisherman and compete in tournaments. You'll catch fish, maintain your stamina, and watch out for poisonous catches. Next is Insect Master, another Game Boy RPG, this time focused on collecting insects to become the ultimate collector. You catch bugs using nets, raise them, and trade with friends using a communication cable. The third game is J-League Supporter Soccer for Game Boy, a soccer simulation game. You manage a team from the J-League, select players from 18 teams, and compete to become world champions. It features command-based selections during matches and player data. Lastly, Go! Hitchhike for Game Boy is a board game where up to 4 players hitchhike across the Mediterranean to London within a year. You'll collect stamps at various locations, manage resources, encounter events, and play mini-games like slot machines along the way. This page showcases a Nintendo Power Rewrite title list categorized by genre. It details a wide range of Super Famicom games available for rewrite, listing them under categories like action, shooting, sports, RPG, puzzle, and simulation. Each game entry includes information on its memory capacity and SRAM usage, along with the game's publisher. Notable titles mentioned include Super Donkey Kong Series, Super Metroid, Clock Tower, Street Fighter II Turbo, Super Mario Collection, Final Fight, Kirby Bowl, Super Bomberman 3, F-Zero, Super Fire Pro Wrestling X Premium, Legend of Valkyrie, Space Invaders, Parodius, Gradius 3, Earthbound 2, Mother 2, and SimCity. The page also includes information regarding the cost of rewriting software at 3,000 yen and 1,000 yen depending on the category, and details the memory capacity of the F-Memory cassette and RAM limitations for rewriting multiple games onto one cartridge. This page showcases a Yoshi Bento lunchbox recipe presented under the Bistro de 64 Rokuyan Enjoy Yukoso heading, suggesting a bistro theme related to Nintendo 64. The page highlights a fun and appealing Yoshi-themed lunchbox, describing it as a delightful Yoshi Bento. The text explains that the bento is designed to be a healthy and cute meal, inspired by the world of Yoshi's story. It emphasizes the visual appeal and the intention to make lunchtime enjoyable, while also encouraging vegetable consumption. The bento is presented as a way to bring the fun of Yoshi's story to lunchtime and overcome picky eating habits. The page also notes that bistro, in French, means restaurant and credits the photography, cooking, and writing to specific individuals. The next page is a recipe for making a decorated lunchbox called a Yoshi Bento. It starts by listing ingredients for one person, including quail eggs, carrots, snap peas, celery, ham, cod roe, and seasonings. The recipe details steps to create a garden-themed bento with flower shapes from carrots and quail eggs and greenery from celery and snap peas, all arranged in a box of rice and topped with cod roe. There's also a section called Rokuyan Food Hall, showcasing reader submissions, mentioning a Pikachu bento made with egg, nori, and red pepper, suggesting a theme of creating character-inspired lunchboxes related to the 64 or Nintendo 64 era. This page showcases the Pokepara 2 corner, focusing on the latest Pokemon goods. It's like a product spotlight, showing off a variety of Pokemon merchandise that were coming out. First up are the Pokemon Character Collection figures, featuring Team Rocket, Ash, and Misty, with sets available at 1,980 yen from July 17th. Then, there's a Pikachu shaved ice maker for 3,000 yen from June 26th, perfect for summer. Pokemon lures are also highlighted, with hard sets and worm sets for 2,500 and 400 yen respectively, coming in July. A home Pokemon Crane game machine is advertised for 5,980 yen from July 17th. There's also a cute talking Pikachu keychain for 1,500 yen, a Blastoise Super Action Playmo model kit for 1,480 yen, and Pokemon models of Mew, Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon are mentioned for 3,000 yen. Lastly, the new Pokemon Kids 3 figures are shown, featuring a whole bunch of Pokemon like Sleeper, Galonia, Pidgeotto, Persian, Freezer, Kylos, Ghost, Sawamular, Garagara, Monkey, Fire, Kusaihana, Gardevoir, Goliki, Utsubat, Starmie, Crab, and Hitodamon, priced at 100 yen each. The page also encourages readers to send in postcards with messages and Pokemon drawings. This page announces the USA Pokemon debut, highlighting the unveiling of the American version of Pokemon at the E3 show. The page reveals the list of 150 Pokemon names that have been made public, inviting Japanese readers to compare them with the Japanese versions. It features images of the red version game package and screenshots. The page mentions that promotional pamphlets for Pokemon were distributed at E3 and included 151 stickers. This page features Go For It! Mario Imperial Guards, a section with cartoon illustrations of Mario and Captain Falcon, including speech bubbles in Japanese. There's a dialogue section titled Kane and Falcon's Editorial Department Assault Squad, where Kane and Falcon discuss F-Zero and someone named Andre, with Mario also mentioned. The Illustration Hall of Fame section showcases fan art submissions. One features characters from Power Pro 5 by Tomofumi Takahashi from Osaka. Another shows Peach by Seal from Mina Prefecture, referencing a fan letter. There's also Jody Summer from F-Zero, noting Andre's positive comment on the cute illustration, by Junichi Shibata from Tokyo. Lastly, there's a Wonder J2 illustration of a girl character by Mumu from Saitama Prefecture, mentioning Jerry and CHO. At the bottom it announces this month's fan art theme is Wario and Bowser, and the next theme will be Fighting Pokemon. Several examples of fan art based on the Wario and Bowser theme are shown. This webpage features reader-submitted illustrations and 4-panel manga. The Illustration Tenement Building displays fan art, including pieces based on Winback, Mother 3, original characters, Rakuga Kids, F-Zero, Fire Emblem, GoldenEye 007, and a stylish robot illustration. The 4-panel manga room presents humorous comic strips featuring Mario and other characters. The Illustration Seasonal Greetings showcases a Kirby illustration. There is also a Pokemon artwork section for young artists. The Angry Person section includes a single-panel Bomberman comic. A list of contest winners is provided in the This Month's Rank Promotion Winners section. Finally, an illustration recruitment section calls for reader submissions of color illustrations and manga, offering prizes and certificates for selected entries. This page is focused on the game Space Dynamites and reveals character ending commands. For each character, there are 2 command inputs listed to see their endings. The characters featured are Aaron, Demonica, Eve, Goal, Morphix, Nikki, Demitron, Scarlet, Zornok, and Zemaron. The commands are combinations of up, down, left, right, C buttons, L and R triggers, and A and B buttons. The page encourages players to input these commands at the title screen to view each character's ending, hinting at diverse stories for each character that can be easily enjoyed. The next page features gameplay tips. At the top, it's all about Bomberman Hero Mirian Princess Save, or just Bomberman Hero for us in the West. The article is titled Golden Bomber Sortie, and it tells you how to unlock Golden Bomber as a playable character. Apparently, you need to collect 6 gold medals by fully completing stages 1 through 6, which include Hull Lake, Big Cannon, and bonus stage 5. The screenshots show Bomberman in action and highlight the Golden Bomber character once unlocked, saying it's a power-up and makes things easier. Below that, we have Super Speed Race 64, which was a Japanly release. There are 2 shortcut guides here. The first is for Course 4, called Rock Breakthrough. It explains how to cut through a corner by using a rock outcrop as a shortcut, instead of following the main road, showing you the before and after in screenshots and a map. The second shortcut is for Course 5, Door Breakthrough. This one details how to pass through a seemingly closed door, offering a shortcut through a building, again with screenshots and a map to illustrate the technique. It emphasizes timing and not giving up if the door looks closed, as it's a key Drytech discovery, implying a hidden passage exists. This page is all about the Nintendo 64 game Flying Dragon. It shows passwords to unlock platinum and gold versions of characters such as Yusuke, Xiaoryu, and Hayato, as well as a password for a secret technique named Gekirin. Additionally, it explains the treasure get system in Flying Dragon, detailing conditions to acquire items and characters. These conditions involve achieving victories, using special moves, and completing rounds without losing. In a separate section, the page briefly touches upon the game Pachinko 365 Days, describing it as a simulation focusing on rumors and information surrounding pachinko parlors. This page provides N64 game tips and tricks. FIFA Road to World Cup 98 tips include activating supporter cheers and reactions. Powerful Pro Baseball 5 offers methods to simplify success mode dialogue and defensive commentary. World Soccer 3 details creating original Italian players. Flying Dragon Twins passwords unlock treasures. Advance Taikenban Demo has a name-changing trick when recording scores. The page also promotes 64Dream magazine's Dream Technique Palace, encouraging readers to submit their discovered N64 game techniques for prizes, ranging from toys and games to consolation awards. Submissions can be made via postcard or FAX. The Japan Game of the Year 1998 Awards invited readers to vote for their favorite games released between April 1, 1997 and March 31, 1998. Categories included Grand Prix, Semi-Grand Prix, Special Prize, Freshness Award, Visual Award, and Sound Award. 40 titles were nominated across platforms like PlayStation, Saturn, Nintendo 64, Game Boy, and PC-FX. Notable N64 nominees included Culdicept, Mystical Ninja starring Goemon, Gradius Gaiden, Time SimCity 2000 *, and * International Superstar Soccer 64. Voting involved mailing a slip by July 21, 1998, with prizes for voters like a DVD player, digital camera, and game gift certificates, plus a special telephone card prize. This page showcases a nomination list for the Japan Game of the Year Awards, a collaborative project by 15 specialist gaming magazines. It lists software released between April 1, 1997 and March 31, 1998, across various platforms including PlayStation, Sega Saturn, Game Boy, Nintendo 64, Super Famicom, and PC-FX. The page details numerous game titles along with their publishers and the consoles they were released on, acting as a guide for readers participating in the award voting process. Notable Nintendo 64 titles featured include Star Fox 64, Blast Dozer, and Bomberman 64. The page also includes an example of a voting form. This page is a reader's prize giveaway from the 64Dream magazine, offering 64 software titles and Pokemon merchandise as presents. The prizes include a Nintendo 64 console, controller bros which are colorful, N64 controllers, N64 games F-Zero X, Star Soldier, Vanishing Earth, Super Robot Spirits, and Pachinko 365 Nichi. There are also Pocket Monsters models and Kirby Friends figures, a Pocket Pikachu belt case, N64 game cases, a Nintendo Company Information CD-ROM, the Game Boy game Purikura Pocket, and an N64 original fan with Hiroko Yakushimaru. The application deadline is July 20, 1998, with winners announced in the October issue of the 64Dream magazine. The next page is a reader survey and prize giveaway. Readers are asked questions about their opinions on the magazine, their N64 ownership, game genre preferences, favorite Pokemon moves, school trends, and what upcoming N64 games they are looking forward to. Table 1 lists articles within the magazine, from a special sticker to reader prizes. Table 2 lists games that readers might be interested in, including Castlevania 64, Blast Corps, F-Zero X, Wave Race 64, and Pokemon Stadium. The page also announces the prize winners for the June gifts, listing names and locations across Japan for various Nintendo 64-related prizes like consoles, controllers, games, and merchandise. Finally, there's a column called Ann Kate's Eyesight, discussing how gaming can affect eyesight and offering advice to young gamers and their parents to manage game time and eye health. This page is a content page for the magazine, featuring a Dream Game Index, which lists a wide variety of N64 games, along with numerical ratings or page numbers. The index includes titles such as Castlevania 64, Extreme G, F-Zero X, Ogre Battle 64, Person of Lordly Caliber, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Banjo-Kazooie, and Pokemon Stadium, among many others which were likely only released in Japan. There's a section previewing the next issue, highlighting Pokemon Stadium and F-Zero X as major features, promising course strategy information, and other details. The Game Dream Believers section contains reader comments about games like Pocket Pikachu and MLB Ken Griffey Jr. The editor's postscript includes notes about the magazine's content and reader feedback, mentioning games like Zoo TTO Mahjong and the enjoyment readers get from the corner. This page is an advertisement for the Nintendo 64 game Super Speed Race 64. It highlights the game as the #1 supercar Lamborghini racing game, offering high-speed battles across 6 or more courses. The ad details features like time trial, championship, time challenge, and single-course modes. It boasts 16 million colors, realistic graphics, pit stops for refueling and tire changes, and 4-player simultaneous play. A time attack campaign is announced, offering the top 10 scorers an invitation to the '98 All Japan Championship Formula Speedway. Additionally, there's a Densha to Go campaign where purchasing Densha to Go software enters you into a lottery to win a special gold controller, with weekly prizes for 20 winners. The game is developed by Taito Corporation. The ad text urges players to be careful of the intense speed and features a yellow Lamborghini Diablo. This page is advertising Nintendo Power for the Super Famicom, promoting new games for July. The featured game is Mahjong. It highlights the Nintendo Power game writing service with a 3,000 yen rewriting price. The SF memory cassette is promoted as a way to play various rewritten games. A selection of Super Famicom games available through this service are listed, such as Hello, Pac-Man, Super Family Tennis, Super Ozumo Netsen Daichiban, Tactics Ogre, Ogre Battle, The March of the Black Queen, and Devil's Course.